welcome to Back Issues. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Sal.
And I'm Ethan.
And I am terrified today to be going over Brian K. Vaughan's run on The Runaways, or at least a portion of his run, because he did actually continue for a little while after this before friend and fan of the series Joss Whedon took over.
Yay.
Trust me, this is right up Whedon's alley. If you have this trade, if you're a fan of this, there's actually a little note that was sent in by Whedon when this trade finished up, and essentially the series was over at the time.
Oh.
And Whedon was like, it can't possibly be over.
Right. Because I have so many great ideas.
Well, no. He legitimately was like, you can't, no. This can't be over.
Right.
Maybe you're
It's
thinking,
so important.
but this is going to be supposedly an upcoming Hulu series, which raises a couple of questions. If you know this story, you know that there are mutants in this story. So
might they just change them into
Inhumans?
Or will they be like, I don't care, we're Marvel, and I don't care anymore.
Well, and Legion is being co-produced with Fox and Marvel.
It's not overwhelmingly mutant heavy, but
Mutants
But
are
there
in
are
the
mutants.
book.
mutants are in this book.
And it's about teenagers, so like you gotta have mutants in there because they're like the teenage allegory.
Right, exactly.
No one understands me.
Well,
and
let
my
me-
special powers.
Let me tell you right now. Okay, first of all, this was pitched by Brian K. Vaughan in probably like 2004, 2003-ish, pitched, not actually published, but pitched, under the Marvel Tsunami label.
What?
Marvel Tsunami
I've never heard of
was
that.
an attempt by Marvel to get a younger audience of new readers who are fans of manga. That's not to be conversed with the Mangaverse, or confused with the Mangaverse that they would later bring in.
Yes, where they actually just made manga versions of Marvel characters.
No, things that are part of the Tsunami run are like Sentinels, Mystique, Human
Sentinels.
Torch, Namor, and Venom. Now,
I
a
assume
few of
also
these,
Jubilee was probably also
that
folded
I don't
in.
know, but I know
Which we did an episode.
that Mystique, Sentinels, and Runaways were pretty critically acclaimed, and the other ones really fell by the wayside and kind of just kept being published because of the popularity of that first issue that they had, essentially. Most of them are very short runs. The like Namor or Human Torch were like maybe 12 issues.
Yeah.
Runaways made it to 18
Okay.
before the entire label was like, no, we're not.
Yeah.
Did
I
they-
remember when it came out.
Mystique rolled into
X-Men.
well, not just into X-Men, but like into the actual like regular publishing.
Yeah.
Like they just kind of rolled that. They're like, all right, let's put
All
that
right,
in
well,
here.
you know, we're just going to Marvel it up. Just Marvel.
Exactly.
Not Marvel Tsunami.
And
I guess that
Runaways,
was pretty inappropriate over a couple
I
of
was
years.
gonna say, like, at least they didn't call it like kamikaze.
right? Right.
Marvel Kamikaze!
Yeah.
That-
Did they make it like backward? Like where you go from
No.
you read it like
No, they
Yes.
didn't. Don't
Like-
no.
because that's what
No.
I
They
call
should have
the
called it
manga.
Marvel Blade.
No.
Use like a katana blade. It's on a bleeding edge.
The story is great, but this book is cemented in 2004.
Well, it's about teenagers, so
But
it'll
yeah,
So, yeah.
it is just reference after reference after reference, and those references haven't aged well.
Yeah.
But the story itself, if you remove all of that junk, which is not really like, it doesn't tie into it at all,
Right.
it can be put into any time period.
Yeah, if you republished it, you could just replace the references. and
Exactly,
that's all you have to change.
exactly. Or for this Hulu series, they can just take all that out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just
like
keep
they
the
can
skeleton
just
of the idea.
Keep the story.
Yeah.
But I was reading, I was like, oh, yeah. It is also aimed at teenage readers. It is super angsty.
Yeah.
Super angst. I really dug it. I still,
I can see why Whedon would
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh,
that stuff.
he loves people
Well,
who hate themselves.
And there's another interesting, like, something that's, like, interesting that Vaughn noted, too, like, in an interview I saw with him, is that this book, when it was coming out, this was raising, like, some eyebrows.
Really?
Because the team is a majority of women. Or
That's
girls.
true.
It's a majority female, which, of course, Joss Whedon would be attracted
Right.
to.
Naturally.
But
And
he
they
didn't.
kick ass.
And by the way, he didn't do it on purpose. It just happened that way.
Right.
Like the characters he wrote, that was
happened to
it.
be women,
It
yeah.
just happened to work out like that.
What the hell are the Runaways and
So
what are they
what
running
are
from?
the
And
Runaways?
why do I care?
Well, the story starts as any teenage angsty story would start.
In a basement, I assume.
No, in a video game. And apparently in the Marvel, in this continuity, in this universe, there is essentially a Marvel MMO. Where
Yeah.
you can play like Captain America or the Hulk or
that's cool.
Spider-Man or whatever. And one of our several main characters, there's 6 kids. Alex Wilder is playing this game with friends online. His parents are part of this like philanthropic organization, and like they're like all these families are going to come together, and they see them every year. And like he's like, you know all the kids, and you like them, and you have a good time, but like maybe when you were a little kid that was true, but like when you become a teenager, you're like, oh my god, everyone's so weird because they're not me.
So it's like that episode of South Park when Stan has to hang out with Butters and the other kids
Yeah.
during like the During the meteor shower.
Yeah, exactly. So we get a little introduction of a couple of the other families, like the Deans, who are two actors. I should note that this takes place in California, completely on the opposite side of the country from where most of the action
that's actually
happens.
smart for them because it's like they're not going to accidentally wander into the middle of a Fantastic Four battle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like, all these people are rich. Like, like Alex's family lives in Malibu, and then you meet the Yorks, who are their daughter is Gertrude. She's like against like the man and like her family, and she's like, everybody's trying to put me down, and like she's very intelligent. So like when her parents are arguing with her, it's like, for example, like her dad's like, there's a reason like you're a sophomore, and there's a reason they call you wise fools. And she's like, that's not actually the etymology of it, Dad. And then she explains it to him, and he's like, oh my god. So like we get this introduction of all these characters. So at the Dean family, there's Caroline, and she's like blonde and perfect, and her parents are actors, and like she's vegan, and she's like, hey, hi, everybody, like sunshine, right? And we meet Chase Stein, who is like,
He's the Judd Nelson of the group.
He's a real jock.
Oh, okay.
But his parents are like scientists. They're super smart. So it's like a reversal of what we typically see. And his parents are like, you're an idiot. You're going to be a stereotype. And you got to like shape up or ship out. Like that kind of thing. And then we meet Molly Hayes, whose parents are doctors. And she's the youngest of the group. She's not quite a teenager yet. The others are teenagers, though. They're all like maybe 16-ish, 15, 16.
She's like 11 or 12.
Yeah, she's preteen. We meet Nico, who is a character that others will know from other. She makes it.
She graduates.
She graduates from this book and goes on and does other things eventually. And she is goth.
Awesome.
Which is
what's your
the inspiration for my outfit, because she's my favorite character in this book.
Okay.
And everybody heads over to the house, and immediately we are hit with the idea that Alex hasn't seen Nico an entire year, and like this year she comes in and she's all goth, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, hello.
What happened to you?
That's hot.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
I have found my fetish.
Immediately, we're like, teen angst.
Yes.
Teen, like, sexual tension. Bam! Right in your face.
Yeah.
Here we go. We hate the parents. Some of them do, some of them don't. Family life, whatever. We're doing all of that, and we go right into that.
So they all know each other?
Yeah, they've been meeting once a year essentially, but they don't really hang out outside of that time. So like again, when they were kids, it was all fine and dandy because you're a kid, you're stupid, you don't care, you just want to hang out and like play games and whatever.
Right. You're not looking
but
for
as you
personality
got into those into these preteen teen years, everybody was like, oh my god, they're like, just do this. We gotta meet. We gotta like do
but it's like I'm forced to not only like leave my comfort zone, but I gotta spend it with these people who are teenagers who I hate.
Exactly. Now, by the way, Alex's like hangout pad is like
amazing.
It's like an arcade.
That's awesome.
Like, and it's in his house.
And of course they think it sucks.
They do. They're like, I'm so bored.
I hate all the stimulus around me.
Yeah,
but it's also 2004, so they're not all on their phones yet.
No, exactly, and that's kind of a big thing. Like otherwise,
it's coming though.
It would be coming, but not yet. Not in this book.
I have a pitch for Runaways like 2016, and it's just nothing happens, and they all just go like this.
Right, exactly, and they miss it all.
And then no adventure happens ever.
Exactly.
It's 2 issues.
So essentially, Alex is like, "Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we spy on my parents? Like on what the parents are doing." Right. Because like they always go into the library and like it's like closed doors kind of stuff. Yeah. And they're like, that sounds super boring and stupid. And they're like, how would we even do that? And he's like, well, I found actually like a secret passage like in the house.
Whoa, that's awesome.
First of all, got a secret passage. That's awesome. Second of all, you're gonna stumble upon your parents' key party, which is not gonna be fun.
Exactly. So
like what is that? I don't understand.
So
why these parents are getting together?
Yeah.
Right.
And they think it's freaking weird.
And, like, it's so funny because all the parents are like, you're going to have a great time. And they're like, oh, my God, there's no way that's going to happen.
Yeah, they're like, this is going to be great. You're going to be surrounded by video games and, like, food and stuff. And they're like, kill me
now. And you guys all like each other, right?
Yeah.
Because you're teenagers.
Yeah. Right. Like,
look, people so much in common.
You know, like when you put an old person in an old age home, they all make instant friends because they're all older from the same time period.
Yeah. Exactly. So, they all go through the secret passageway in a hilarious Scooby-Doo-esque manner where they're, like, trying to get through.
Yeah.
And they get there, and they legitimately see them all sitting in a circle, but everybody's dressed funny.
Yeah, that's not funny. That's more like they look like members of Cobra.
They're all dressed
they look like bad
funny,
guys.
Right? They're superheroes.
Right.
And that's where things kind of take a turn, because, like, in their little meeting hall area, like, this door slides open, and this chick shows up. She's got, like, blue hair and stuff.
So, like, another teenager.
Right, and immediately, like, they make a reference to something, which they're like, this is getting a little eyes wide shut, and you're like...
Yeah, a table full of folk in costumes, and they bring out a scantily clad young
Exactly.
lady.
Yep.
And it's at this point that Alex is like, we should probably get the little one out.
Oh yeah, the 12-year-old.
So they Carolina takes her away, and they keep watching and listening, and that's at the point that Alex's dad kills
the girl. Yikes!
Right? There's a scream, but it's not from in the room.
It's from the
this
kids.
Passageway, and they all race back, and all the parents are like, "Oh my god, what was that sound?" So,
and not just the scream, but the hilarious xylophone, all their legs running up.
Exactly. So, they send Alex's mom, and when she comes in, they're all, playing Twister. They raced back, and they
and created... Let's... What do our parents imagine us doing right now?
Exactly. So, they do that, and...
do they fall for it, or they're like...
Oh, yeah, the mom's like, okay, cool.
Oh, great, I'm glad to see you're all getting along.
Exactly. And then, they essentially explain everything to Carolina, and, they're like, something's not cool with what our parents just did. One of our do
they establish who this girl was and why they stabbed her?
They will eventually.
They don't go like, you were part of this thing and I must ritually sacrifice you.
It is a ritual though. It's very obviously a ritual.
Oh, I saw the ornate dagger. And I assumed
exactly.
Ritual.
Well, I mean, they could also just be rich.
Yes.
That's just the weapons that I have.
That's just
right. All I do have is these ancient daggers.
That's like a steak knife.
Yeah.
What's my dad doing with our flatware?
Yeah.
Stabbing this girl. No, it's definitely a ritual.
In the 4th century.
And there's they do this whole scene where they're all fighting back and forth about what's happening. No, there's no way. Like Alex, it was your dad who killed him, not my parents. This whole thing, and it's very teenage.
Yeah, but your parents were in the friggin' ninja masks.
Right. So. Exactly. But for me, it totally fits. This is totally appropriate teenage banter. It's not over the top. It's just exactly what teenagers would do.
Right. And they're trying to rationalize it in their head. They're trying to rationalize it,
and also they don't want Molly to know about it, so they get her out of there.
They're using
and she tries to be all adult, and she's like, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about sex, and they're like, oh my god, just get her out of here.
That's what happened.
Right, exactly. And then Alex realizes that they're supervillains, and they're like, what are we gonna do?
Cool.
They're like, we gotta call the cops. They're like, with what? With our story?
Yeah.
Right.
So they realize they're going to need some evidence.
And they'll find it.
And they're going to find evidence. And the evening kind of comes to an end, and all of a sudden, they're going to all break up. All the families are leaving, but there's this massive trunk that is
filled with a girl in it, probably.
Right? So they determine they're going to have to they're gonna have to do something. So,
right, and they're looking for evidence. Hey, a big heaping pile of it just
but they can't do that. They can't just open it and take it.
No.
So they all go home, and they decide they're gonna meet up at the statue of James Dean, this memorial statue in California. Mm-hmm. Without Molly, they keep her out of this.
It's probably for the best.
Right.
Past bedtime.
Yeah, she's young. She's little.
Nobody I like being rich and famous. I'm gonna stick with this.
Can we just pretend like we didn't see anything?
Villains are cool.
Right? No, none of them are like that. They're all we gotta do something. Well, because most of them hate their parents.
Right.
Gert was like, I knew my parents were
monsters
the whole time. Because I hate them. I hate them. They're all everyone's a jerk.
Now, there are also kids that live in the Marvel Universe. The Avengers have an actual hotline.
Okay.
You can call the Avengers the Fantastic Four on the phone.
They try that.
Oh,
do they really?
Yeah.
What happens?
Who do they call?
It goes to an answering machine.
It always goes to an answering machine, by the way. Spider-Man used to call them.
Yeah.
They were like, hello, citizen, we're in space right now.
Yeah.
If you'd like to leave a message.
But first they decide that they're going to just try and call the police. So they call the cops, and they get this cop who's just
He's
okay, whatever.
He's like the Big Hero 6 cop.
He's just like a cop who's essentially all kids think that their parents are supervillains. All right, thank you so much.
Okay. We get these calls every day.
Yeah.
So at that point, they're like, all right, now we have to go find evidence. We got to do that. And Gert's like, they took the box to my house.
Okay, great. We'll just go to your house and grab the box.
That's what they plan on doing.
Is there a leader of this team?
Inevitably, Alex.
Because the team's coalescing.
Alex becomes the leader of the team, essentially because he's the one who's
whose dad
murdered the girl?
His dad killed that chick.
My dad seems to be the leader of
this team, so I'll be the de facto.
Also, when we saw him earlier when he was playing that MMO, he was kind of leading that as well. He kind of falls into that
natural
right.
Leader,
he is a natural born leader. He can't help himself. He tries to keep a cool head. He's like,
yes.
Guys, you can't just call the police. This is what happens. See, they didn't believe us.
They didn't believe us, and now we
have
fucking
to have
told you.
Evidence.
Now it's on the phone bill, by the way. Our parents are going to see 911 in there.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
And we'll be in a box.
Right, so they decide to go to Gert's house. Chase has a van. He's a big white van.
Okay.
Sweet. Windowless, I hope.
No, he wanted that because, like, he was like, people don't look for that. I don't know. He wanted...
Look for a big white van.
No,
they
they
always
do
look for a
for
big
it.
white van.
Well,
That's
yeah,
the
but
thing.
they all look the same, right?
Right, they are indistinguishable from each other.
Right.
So,
What's he planning on doing that is separate from the recovering of a body with a white
Chase,
van?
Oh, and don't forget, Chase's family is really weird. So presumably, I think his plan was inevitably to like run away and live out of his van.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like his family's
Shall
like
he?
super like intelligent, and he's not. Like he's a jock. Like,
Right.
I mean, he probably could be more than he is, but he put himself into that role.
That's just in character too, because he's been raised with intelligence. He's been forced to live intelligently. So he wants a better life for himself, but he can't cognitize it. So he's like, I'll live in a van, not just like I'll get a lacrosse scholarship.
Exactly.
You know? Like I'll live in a van and like be a free spirit because that's what I've been like taught. But I'm also not gonna fucking discover the negative zone or anything.
Exactly. They hear the name of the team, by the way.
Oh, the bad guy.
Yeah, back when they were in the
League of Bad Parents.
They're the Pride.
The Pride.
Pride.
With a Y.
No, PRID.
Alright,
Yeah,
good.
like, and which I really dig that as a name. Like,
Yeah, the Pride.
Because when they first heard it, they weren't sure. Like, that could go either way, but they're Supervillain.
Yes, they have pride in themselves.
Right, exactly.
Lions.
They're like lions.
Right,
Yeah.
so they go down to Gert's basement. It's filled with like junk from like all over the world, like all these crazy items. And they find a keypad on the wall, and they're like, "That's got to be in there." They have like some sort of safe and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What do we do? Like, what if we put in the wrong thing and it sets off an alarm?" Like they're doing the whole
They
thing.
would. They
And
would
like
be good.
Alex is like, "It's Pride. I
What?
guarantee
It's the
you
name of their
Pride."
team?
What? That's the worst password ever.
He's like, "I guarantee it." Well, don't forget, like they also like, and he's like, "Our parents are the kinds of people who use password as passwords."
Right, their parents.
Oh,
So
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay.
he's
What I
like,
need to do is get high to figure out the passcode. do.
"They do it. It totally works."
Ah.
Of
And
course.
the wall slides open, and a dinosaur comes out.
What?
Whoa!
With a cool bull
That's fucking
ring through its nose.
awesome.
That's a fucking raptor
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a raptor, and immediately just starts like,
eating them.
well, he immediately like is just standing there, and like they're like, "Oh my god."
This is awesome. This is the greatest day of my life.
All right, and Chase immediately, because he's Chase, picks up a lamp and tries to attack it,
Okay.
which provokes it into attacking him.
Sure.
Okay.
And as
Plus,
that's
he's
happening,
made of delicious meat.
right, and it's a raptor, so like of
Yeah.
course he's stronger.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
and-
he gets eaten by the raptor.
Right, well no, because Gert yells, "Stop it!" And it
stops.
does.
Oh.
And at that point, Gert's parents appear.
No.
Oh.
Oh, they got busted.
Like
fast.
through smoke, or do they just walk down? The
They
stairs?
no, they just their attention was the other way of the raptor, and they appear behind them.
Okay.
And Alex takes a swing at them and goes right through it because it's a hologram.
Oh.
And they're like, "Hey, if you're seeing this, we're dead." What's up?
I was just reading. Nobody moved. They can only sense motion.
Somebody watch Jurassic Park.
That's what he
awesome.
says.
That's awesome.
But see, that still works because now we have Jurassic World. So that one actually came
Yeah, we
around.
updated
It came around.
Yeah.
So
So the hologram of the parents are like, we're dead. So it's a contingency plan.
right, it was they're like, "Hey, we
Use this
died."
dinosaur to kill the superhero that killed
Well,
us.
and they're like, essentially, as we find out, Gert's parents were travelers who traveled through the 4 dimensions, through time and space, and visited other dimensions.
Oh,
and their
okay.
time machine broke down,
Like
essentially.
now. Or
Actually,
like 18 years
in the
ago.
80s. It broke down in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
But before, like they managed to, like, jerry-rig something to, like, go into the future, and they got this raptor, and they genetically
You're a
engineered
raptor
it.
from the future.
Yeah, you think you go back.
Well, no, because they had it genetically engineered. It was genetically engineered.
right.
It was built. And when
Oh.
they built it to, like, genetically pair with Gert and to respond to any for commands to
and like
protect her.
imprint on her.
Oh,
Okay.
So it's like an instant pet.
Yes.
It's an Instapet, exactly. And they're like, by
Or
the way,
guard dog.
they're like, here's this book. It's going to explain everything. It's the abstract. All you're going to need is the ring that the Deans gave you, which is Carolina's family,
Right, who would have if they
on your
died.
18th birthday.
Oh.
And they're like, "Where's the ring?" And she's like, "I'm 15."
Right, it's-
Christ,
it's
guys,
3
come
years
on,
in the
think
future.
for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she needs to become Dino Girl.
Well, they essentially they're like, "Well, you became part of the Pride,
Yes.
so like that you should go and find the rest of the Pride and like whatever."
Right, team up with these kids. So they're more or less, they're 3 years early, and they're on the side of good instead.
No, they're still on the side.
No, I mean, like, these
yeah,
like, the
yeah,
Runaways.
exactly. The Runaways are like,
Like nothing went according to plan.
nothing went according to plan.
But it did, because they're all there with her, and
That's
she
true.
got her dinosaur. Like, it all worked, but sideways.
Yes, exactly. And really, like, they assumed that none of them would be together. And that's why she had to get, like, she would use the ring and read the abstract and, like, whatever. Because the ring is, like, a cipher. And we'll let them, like, actually, like, read
this book.
Oh, okay. So now they gotta get the ring.
Or they could call Westchester and have one of the mutants figure it out.
Right? No, that's literally it. Alex is like, we gotta get the ring.
Right, because we went to your house, now we gotta go to my house and get the ring.
Exactly, right? And
so back to the runaway van!
Right, and by the way,
with a dinosaur!
Everyone's still arguing, because Gert's like, see, okay, my parents are evil. That means all of our parents are evil. And and like Carolina's like, my parents are not evil guys. I know
to Carolina's house!
Right, because her parents had the ring. She's like, my parents don't even eat meat.
Right.
Which Gert snappily retorts that neither did Hitler. So they go to
that's biting retort.
Right, so they go to Carolina's house. They leave the raptor behind, but of course it doesn't stay behind.
So it follows them? Okay.
It's attached to her
That's
mentally,
awesome.
and it's been cooped up this whole time.
Oh
and
my
how
God.
did it stay alive? I guess they fed it.
I guess they
would throw it meat every once in a while.
Right, so they...
Aren't they gonna notice that the raptor's gone?
No, because it was like sealed away.
Yeah,
like,
it was in a wall.
I guess inevitably they would, right?
Well, the food will start piling up now that there's no raptor.
Trust me. There's gonna be something that tips them off a little sooner than that.
Oh, okay.
So they go to the dean's residence. It's like 4 a.m. The deans are away because they're like shooting.
Oh, okay.
So she's like, "Don't worry, nobody's here." So they start looking through stuff. She's like, "See, we didn't find anything." And Alex is like, "I found all these papers. Like, check this stuff." Oh no, I'm sorry. Chase finds all these papers. They start going through it, and Alex finds one thing, which has the catechist on it. And like a no symbol.
What?
And he's like, what is that?
Well, what does that mean?
And,
like no to medicine?
Well, because it's like it was part of their will, essentially. And they're like, huh. And she's like, well, clearly that means that like, I don't have to worry about my allergies anymore or whatever. Because she has like one of those bracelets.
Yeah, that says like, do not use penicillin.
Exactly. Like, she's like, yeah, she's allergic to penicillin. And so, like, they all, like, rip it off. Take the bracelet off. Do it. She's like, no, it doesn't matter. It's not going to prove anything. My parents aren't evil. I love my parents, blah, blah, blah. So she finally is like, fine. She rips it off. And she turns into colors.
And vapor.
All right.
It's like solar energy, essentially.
So that bracelet was, like, restraining her power?
Yeah, it was a power inhibitor.
It was exactly what it was. And that's why they were like, never take your bracelet off. You always have to have it on forever. But at this point, when they had died...
Right.
And...
If they had died,
she was supposed to take it off and take her place in part of the pride.
Right, so we got Dino Girl and Vape.
Right. It was Alex remembers something that he heard in their meeting. The meeting from the murder meeting, where they mentioned that the deans had been dealing with off-world enemies. And they're like, oh my God, you're an alien.
That's awesome.
And she loses it. Like, she can't handle that at all. Her world is crashing down around her.
This is awesome. This would be the greatest day of my life.
Right? And then she realizes she can fly.
Okay, yeah. Then
and she is like,
fuck this, I'm great.
Overjoyed.
Oh, never mind, it's awesome.
Yeah, that's exactly it. She's like, oh no, I'm cool. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. And the thing, by the way, that tips everybody off is, remember the cop, the incompetent cop who was like, all parents
are the worst hair I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, never seen anything this bad. Just let it go, man.
Yeah.
Let it go. You're balding. It's okay.
Yeah.
He goes and tells his lieutenant. He's like, hey, I got this call, blah, blah, blah. And they said something about
like a clandestine pride.
Yeah, exactly. And that guy's like, hey, you can take the night off.
Because I'm part of the pride. God damn it.
He's not part of the pride, but he is employed.
He works for them.
He works
He's a
for,
familiar.
He works for Alex's parents. Because Alex's parents are essentially crime bosses.
Oh, they're like the West Coast kingpin.
You're right. So they run this whole town. They got their hands in everything, including the police. So when I called the police, that was mistake.
He's like, yo, your kid called.
So it doesn't worry. It doesn't matter that they know that the raptor may be gone or not, because they already know that the kids.
Well, they might tread a little more cautiously if they thought there was a raptor that was going to get them.
Right, exactly. So they check to see if Alex is in his bed. He's not.
And he uses a ritual knife to try and take it down.
Yeah, with that he brings the knife with him. And there's a hilarious moment between the parents.
So he was going to kill him?
I don't know. That was the. I think he wasn't sure what he was gonna find, because like maybe all the kids were there. Maybe they, you know what I mean? Like, so they decide they're like Carolina, you're gonna need to put the bracelet back on because we can't go around with you like
this.
She broke it, but then they fix it. I don't know. That always bothered me too, because they clearly just destroy it.
Yeah, it was like it was shattered.
No, but it's fine.
It's fine.
That'll happen a couple of more times. So they ruin it. This is the point where they just. This is the time they decide they probably should get Molly. They're like,
the little kid? Yeah.
We want to just get her and just make sure she's okay. And And Chase is like, we should go to my house.
And find out what kind of cool shit is waiting for me.
That's exactly what he's like.
I want to know what my power is.
And Alex is like, no, there's no time. And he's like, yeah, but we don't actually have any evidence.
You realize that, I'm not special. I was a van. I'm not going to be the van guy.
That's exactly yeah.
I'm the driver.
But he does make a good point. He's like, my place is on the way to Molly's, and we have no evidence. And they're like, all right, fine. They go out to the shed, because he's like, that's where they would keep stuff, because that's where they do all their science work. So they go in there, and it is like, it's a little shed, and when you go inside, it's a TARDIS. Huge.
Oh.
And they're like, well, it's probably like an effect from the outside,
right.
So whatever. So there's like all this stuff in there, including X-ray specs.
Nice.
Which he immediately uses.
Which he immediately dons and uses and enhances, yes.
Exactly. And that's when some of the parents show up. But legitimately, some of the parents show up.
They're not holograms or visions of the future.
And Nico's parents, like, surprise them. And, like, they try to pull the parent thing. They're like, what
You're
are you
grounded.
doing? Yeah, we were worried sick about you. You've been gone all night. It's like 4 a.m. What are you doing?
And you're in our secret
blah, blah, blah.
super science lair.
Like they're trying to like put the genie back in the bottle.
They totally are trying to put the genie back in the bottle.
That ain't gonna work.
Well, because think about it. They don't have the dinosaur with them. There's
Right,
nothing that...
Right. So far, all it looks like is a bunch of kids are hanging out in a cool science room.
Right,
Well,
even
but
though
they know
they
they got
the cops...
busted.
Right, but they're still trying to, like, just... They're like, well, maybe they don't know that there's something more to some of them, right?
Yeah. They don't know that they have, like, powers.
Exactly. And, like, Chase puts on these big gauntlets. So his father's like, fine. He, like, zaps them. And that's when Alex, like, rips Carolina's bracelet off. And, like, she activates.
So break it a second time.
Exactly. And then this is when Nico's family reveals their costumes and the fact that Nico's family is magic.
They look like hand ninjas.
Right, no, but they're not. They're magic.
Okay.
No, but they're magic, though.
They are definitely magic.
Hand ninjas are magic, too.
That's true, they are.
Well, there you go. Maybe. Who knows? Nico's mom wields a staff called the Staff of One, which she tries to attack her daughter with. Not trying to, like, hurt her, but she's like, you gotta have a seat, honey, all right? Because I'm your mom and I know what's happening. And as she's, like, pushing her with the staff goes inside of Nico.
Goes into her?
Like as though it were a pocket.
Oh.
Just for it.
Okay.
Interesting.
And, like, her mom's like,
what? You're more magic than me.
Right? So then Nico just hits her mom in the head with, like, a nearby machine.
Nice.
And that's about the time the raptor busts in.
Naturally.
Well, because they'd been following Gert.
They've been waiting, and now they're under attack.
Well, yeah, and Gert got crazy scared.
Yeah. And the dinosaur can probably, like, sense that.
Uh-huh.
Smell the fear
exactly,
in the
and
air.
immediately attacks Chase's folks.
And eats them.
It starts to try to, and, like, Gert's like, whoa, not yet.
Please don't eat them.
Yeah, please don't, no.
They threaten to. And
exactly, and Lucy starts, like, trying to, like, understand her powers, so she actually, like, focuses it and, like, does attacks and, like, blah, 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 right?
That's
like,
cool.
So they have, like, their first battle?
Yeah, they have their first fight against legitimate supervillains.
Really, right?
We've never heard of before.
So they're like, okay, now what do? We gotta go get Molly, or I don't know.
To the van!
Right. Yeah, they all hop in the van.
Six of the plan chumps.
Six of the plan chumps, and that's when Gert's phone rings, and she's like, that's weird, my phone's off.
Right. Oh. Interesting.
And she gets a phone call.
She gets a phone on her Nokia indestructible phone.
Exactly, and it's her parents. And they're like, hey, you guys gotta come in, otherwise we're gonna kill Molly.
Oh, well, that's where we're going in the first place. So that's
they knew how
that they were going to come get her.
Well, they knew how to. The parents knew like what leverage to use.
Yes,
exactly.
These are the time traveling parents.
These are the 4-dimensional time traveling parents, and these are Molly's parents.
Oh,
and they're like,
kill their own kid.
This guy looks like a Mortal Kombat character,
right? They're like, do you think they bought it?
Oh, okay.
They're like, we're not gonna kill our kid. Like, they're just keeping her
obviously.
asleep, essentially.
Right.
These two are mutants.
Oh,
what's interesting about these two is they're married. They're a pair bond, as they call themselves, and they're like, we are very rare because we found each other and we have the exact same power.
Okay, interesting.
That's cool.
Right,
cool.
which I thought was kind of neat.
Yeah.
So like they subdue Molly because like Molly doesn't seem to show any mutant gene, but they're still worried because she's a preteen.
And especially if you her
and
powers manifest when she's a teenager.
Right, exactly.
Once puberty kicks
exactly.
in. Also, they're both parents. If both parents are mutants, you have a mutant. No question.
Right. They tested her for the gene though, and
but
she
they
didn't have it.
Yeah.
So they're like they always are concerned about that.
You can imagine Xavier just showing up right now and being like, "That's enough of that."
Right? No, yeah, exactly. He's just like, okay,
I'm taking this.
Well,
book
these guys are actually they are telepathic. So like
they could create a barrier. Notice that Chase's gauntlets also shoot fire.
He discovers that.
That's
he's
awesome.
like, well, he can't get them off.
Oh, they can't come off now.
He like put them on. He's like, I can't get. This is gonna be a real problem,
I don't
guys.
really know how
Yeah, I'm a teenager and I have them in my hands. I don't know if you know this. I need these.
Guys,
hands.
this is not good. And
Like
then he's
every
like,
20 minutes.
and now they shoot fire. Okay, that's kind of cool.
It's cool, but
cool.
it doesn't solve my masturbatory problem.
Yeah, exactly. So they decide they're gonna have to come up with like a plan, right? Because
to get
like
these gauntlets off. Yeah.
essentially they're like
And get Molly back.
yeah,
Molly,
they're
yeah,
like they decide that because they're like you have to go.
And Afro Samurai doesn't have any powers yet.
Right. Well, and like yeah, and Nico just has a stick inside of her.
Right, a magic stick though.
A magic stick. but she doesn't know she doesn't know how to
But
do
they got
anything.
Glowy Girl and the Dinosaur Man.
Right, and
Fire Fist.
And Fire Fist. So they decide they have to kind of split up, and they're
call
gonna.
him Kid Fisto.
He comes up with a name, and we're not calling him that. So they come up with a plan where they're gonna basically split off, and one team's gonna go and rescue Molly, and then one's gonna actually go in for the
party.
one's gonna go for essentially as a ruse and be like, no, see, we're totally here to do what you say.
Oh, okay. They're like, I'm down with the pride. Let's do this.
No. They're turning themselves in.
Oh,
essentially,
okay.
they're like, no, it's totally
to their
fine.
parents.
Right, and as we find out that Carolina's parents are actually off-world while this is all going on. That's where they were shooting.
Yeah, they were in
Into
space.
space.
They were blasting off.
Right, they were doing deals with scrolls and stuff like that. By the way, her race, the race that she is, they
never really say what it is.
They don't say it in here, but I looked it up, and they're not fans of the scrolls.
They're not fans of them.
Yeah, they don't do well. But these guys are brokering deals in space.
Are they an old race? Like, is it a race that existed, or did they make it up?
I think every one of these characters so far was created by Brian K. Vaughan.
Okay.
So Nico and Chase go to Chase's house.
I saw some hooking up going on in this book.
Well, yeah, I told you the sexual attention. Like two of them, what if we die?
So
Kiss.
they make out.
And
Did
then
they set that up? Were they
Did they have any kind of tension together?
They a little bit here and there.
Dialogue?
It's throughout.
Okay.
Yeah, they
Okay,
clearly there's
so it's
something
been building
happening.
a little bit.
Exactly, and it's funny because most part everybody thinks Nico's pretty cool. Like Carolina digs Nico. Like anything she wants to do, she's like, whatever Nico does, I'm doing that too.
Okay.
I'm doing this.
Okay.
This is what I'm doing. This is interesting because later on it turns out in later books they would reveal that Carolina was gay.
Oh, and had a crush on her. Oh.
Yeah, which works totally in this book. So I don't know if that was a plan of Vaughn's. I don't really know.
Right, or if they just decided to change it later.
And it just happened to really work well.
Either way, that's a cool idea.
So anyway, so they go in there and essentially phase one is
Send the dinosaur.
send the dinosaur.
Good way to start.
Send the dinosaur because
That's how I would lead it.
they're against Molly's folks who
Are
have
telepaths.
and they make them kneel and stuff like that. And then the dinosaur comes in, which takes care of that. And then Gert's
And it eats them.
family shows up and Gert's there too. Gert can't make the dinosaur attack her parents. They're like, why would we do that?
Yeah, if we
are
can
not
grow
idiots.
a dinosaur and make it genetically predisposed to like you,
Exactly.
we're also going to make it not kill us.
Now Gert's dad has a giant axe, so he immediately attacks Nico with said giant axe.
Sweet.
And it cuts her, and upon that, the staff reveals itself.
Oh.
And she says when blood is shed, the staff of one emerges. So every time the staff of one needs to come out,
She has to cut herself?
she has to cut herself.
Oh my god.
No. Don't do that.
What? Does the staff just blast out of her like a cannon?
Yeah.
Does it...
It doesn't hurt her.
Is that all it does?
No, because she then uses it for magic.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Now, as we will find out later on in this book,
Let's just carry it.
she'll use because it'll go back in. It has to
Oh.
recharge, or she has to recharge because she's not skilled at using it at this point, right?
Right,
She it absorbs into her, and she says it feels like having something stuck in your eye, except it's in your soul.
Oh.
When it's in
That
there all
sounds
the
awful.
time.
Yeah, and
That
she can't
sucks.
get it out, right?
Yeah, so she has to cut herself to feel better.
Well, it could cut herself, or
To scratch that itch.
yeah, or
Yeah.
at
Just
one
as a compulsion.
right. No, she doesn't want to.
No,
she
but she
has
has
done it.
to.
Yeah.
She has to.
But
Nobody
in this
wants
case,
to.
it was an accident.
Yeah.
So her spells are she'll say something freeze and it'll happen,
Okay.
but she can't use it more than once.
More than
Like,
one.
that's it?
Once you say freeze, you can't use that word again
Oh.
as a spell command.
Like ever?
Ever again?
Ever.
That sucks.
Now that's what the staff
Halt!
of one
Oh,
because
staff of one. You
because
can do one thing.
exactly.
Oh my god.
And if she says it again, random things will happen.
Okay.
But
Wait, when she
her-
says freeze again, things will turn to ice?
You'll see. But her mother can do other magic, so the idea is that she could learn more magic. It's just
Right.
that just
she
what
could
she
just
could
pick
do.
up a thesaurus.
Oh no, I mean she
No,
could do
she-
other spells that don't require the use of the
The word.
staff.
The staff,
Oh, the
yeah.
staff.
It's just
Oh.
she doesn't know
That's
what
that
it's
No,
staff
yeah, well,
specific thing, but she can do other magic stuff.
Right,
over
but right now she has an actual tome she can use for magic. She
Exactly.
hasn't learned magic yet. Okay, cool.
Exactly. So essentially, they took care of phase 1 through phase 2.
Right, they defeat the
They did those
parents.
two. Now it's phase 3. Phase 3 is Chase and Carolina, and immediately that gets totally screwed because Carolina's mom shows up and uses her powers to stop Chase immediately,
alien
out of the
powers.
gate. Out of the gate. They don't even get a chance to do anything immediately.
And he's got all of his gadgets on.
Right, and those two, Caroline and her mom have this conversation where she's like, "No, you don't get it, Caroline. Everything's fine, and you're better than all this, and you're better than humans."
You're
and
not
blah,
even
blah,
a
blah."
person.
And she's
It's
like,
cool.
like literally like kept me from anything that made me special with my powers. And then she takes her bracelet and she's like, and I'm guessing that if this inhibits my powers, it's gonna inhibit yours. And she just punches her mom in the face
With
and just
the bracelet.
with the bracelet just waylays
Like a
her.
pair of brass knuckles that also dampen her powers.
Exactly.
That's cool.
And she feels great.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right? She's like,
She's free.
right? Oh no,
Her
I'm
mom.
sorry. They didn't.
Yeah. Eat it, Mom.
They didn't
Dick.
go to Alex's house. They were at Molly's house. They're gonna to meet up, and
Yeah.
Nico goes upstairs, and there's Molly's mom, and of course, once again, the exact same thing happens. Where like they're like, you just I have the same power, but they don't know that. So
Right.
like they're like, you can't stop me, you little witch. Like,
Yes.
I'm a mutant, and like get the hell out of here. And that's when Molly wakes up, and
Their hold on her.
right, and like she this whole time has randomly been asking to talk about changes in her body.
Oh.
And she's trying to talk to the girls about it,
And they won't talk.
and they're like, "It's fine, you're fine, you're gonna be okay." I don't, right? But it's not what you think because like she mentions blood and stuff like that, and they're like,
And they're like,
"Oh."
yeah,
Oh,
that's very
God, I
specific.
No,
about that.
But she has these random nosebleeds because her mutant powers are developing.
Cool.
So what we thought was one thing turns out to be
Right.
another, and no one
Well,
will
it's a
talk to
metaphor
her
for the one
about
thing
it.
that we all thought
Exactly.
was. Yeah.
But anyway, like Nico like slams Molly's mom in the face,
With a staff.
which like triggers Molly,
Oh.
and immediately like her mutant powers emerge like,
Okay.
fully.
Oh.
Yeah,
She's like,
usually
you hit
it's-
my mom.
Yeah.
It's either puberty or a period during puberty of extreme emotional
Which
stress.
is this is all they like calm her down essentially, and then the dinosaur shows up, and there's a whole
That is-
Like,
Like,
no, wait, there's a
that.
whole backstory.
Exactly.
Your mom's a bitch, I'm sorry.
exactly.
Ghost whale dinosaur,
But,
so
like,
it's not all bad.
Molly's kind of attached to Gert, which is kind of important because
Yes.
like those two end up guarding the base a lot.
Uh,
And then like so they're all kind of calming everybody down. They're like, Molly, we need you to come with us. But like she's like, but my mom, like you hit my mom. That's my mom.
right.
And like that's
Don't say
when
mom.
that's when Carolina's mom shows up, and
So your mom's here.
she immediately attacks Gert.
Oh no.
Oh.
And like that's when Molly's like, you can't hurt Gert.
Oh.
I like her. And she just takes her and pushes her as hard as she can, which sends her flying out of the house and into the pool. Molly Hayes will turn out to be like one of the top 4 strongest female characters in the Marvel universe.
Whoa.
They decide that they're like, they can't just leave Carolina's mom face down in the pool.
No.
So they go and they like flip her over, and she's like, ah! And then like Alex hits her again, and
Okay.
it's just it's very again angst
Yeah.
all the way through.
Yep.
So they take Molly, and Molly's still trying to process all this because
Yeah.
like she's
Because her body did change.
not only her body changing, but like they're just like, your parents are like, our parents are super villains, and your mom's
Yeah.
bad.
We've
Right.
been dealing with this for several hours.
Yeah,
and
we've already
come
to terms with it, but
yeah, and like
yeah.
and like there's a
That
whole lot
sucks.
going, and you're the youngest of us on
Yes.
top of all of this.
Yeah.
And Alex, this whole time that they took the ring because they took the ring. From
Oh, good. Yeah. they
Because
got
of
the ring.
course, luckily, Mrs. Dean was wearing the ring.
Oh, sweet.
So they just took it off of her, and Alex is working on the book. It's daytime. They're driving around in the van because what else are you gonna do?
To the van.
And Alex's phone rings,
Oh.
and it's his dad. And,
And
he's,
he's
like,
like, hey.
he's like, hey, I'm gonna need you to look at a TV.
Right, because I've got an APB on you now.
Oh no, it's not just that. We framed you for the murder of that girl.
Ah!
Like they put the body in the bedroom, and they called up their cop minions, and they're doing this whole thing.
Except that doesn't make any sense, because there's no way that there's a motive for a group of teenagers that have no...
Well,
they're
no,
like
no,
a
no.
cult.
No.
Or
They
they're
said
Satanists.
They're the prize.
They said it was just him, and that there was like a falling out essentially.
Oh.
And then they say that they kidnapped Molly Hayes, which is what implicates a couple of the others. But they don't do all of them because they're afraid to implicate all of the families at the same
Right.
time.
They don't-
Right.
Because they're a team right now. They don't want to piss everybody off
So
and then
they
turn
just
into a big fight.
Exactly. So, well, no, the Pride as a whole agreed on this.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Because
they
they're
don't.
like, we got to get these kids back.
Yeah, they don't want there to be any link between all the kids and all of them.
Exactly.
Right,
So
yeah.
they just implicate some of them,
Mhm.
and they're like,
Okay.
if we find any of them, we'll find all of them.
Right.
So
Right.
they're like, I can't believe our parents just did this.
Yeah. Our
Like
parents are
everyone,
hustlers.
everyone's looking for us.
Yeah.
Everyone is looking for
Well, if they
us.
killed a chick, they could definitely like make you fugitives.
Right,
Yes.
exactly.
Like,
exactly.
It's not the worst thing they've done
Yeah.
in this book.
Now, here is where the book gets, in my opinion, even more interesting. Because they're all the Pride is recovering, like they're framing the kids upstairs in like the bedroom, and they all kind of meet up, and Mrs. Dean shows up, and she's like, "Hey, after I woke up, like I went back in the house, and like in the foyer essentially was a note." and there's a mole amongst the Runaways.
Oh no!
And nobody knows who it is. It's not signed. It just says like, "I believe in you," and I know you're doing the right thing.
Oh wow!
And like, I'll be in touch.
Oh,
No signature.
That's cool.
So all the pride's like, whose kid?
See, now that'd be
is
funny
it?
if none of them were a mole and they just did that to completely rip up the pride.
Oh,
right?
My kid is obviously
Right?
the mole. And like, no, it isn't. Rah.
Now, you know what's funny? None of the pride fall into that.
They don't fight with each other.
No, they
These are
don't.
the most competent supervillain team I've ever seen in my life.
Well, you'll see. Well, you'll see what happens. But yes,
By the way, at what point do they say we're just a couple of runaways?
they don't. But like everyone else calls them runaways. Like, and they do call like
Because they were literally runaways.
they do just say that they're like we're just runaways at this point. Like,
Okay,
the
so they
top
do
one-
have the
They
Gangster
do.
Squad moment.
They do say, but everyone calls them that. Everyone says the runaways,
Yeah.
right? So essentially, Chase is like, I know where we're gonna go because I found this cool hideout that I like to go to sometimes, and like it's super cool, and that's
Right.
where we should go.
That's where I go to, like, get in touch with myself.
Yeah, and remember, this is Chase, so it's kind of a terrible
probably
idea.
stupid.
Because it was a hotel that essentially, like, I guess during an earthquake fell into the earth. And he's like, but it's totally cool. We can get into it through this tunnel. And it's safe, I'm sure, right?
Oh, no doubt.
And he put out this sign that says, like, warning, gamma testing site.
Gamma
He's like,
testing.
that keeps everybody away. And they're like,
God damn it.
it's Chase.
We're not supposed to go in there.
Well, he put
No, he just
put the
found a
sign
gamma.
there.
Oh, he put the sign there.
He's like, I ordered the sign. I put it outside. Because,
Oh,
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So they all go in there, and
Do they say that, like, mole men are responsible for it?
no, nobody says that. So we have this like fun teenage bonding moment where we're all like, "Alright, this is kind of cool. I guess it's
Yeah,
safe.
we have
I
a
don't
fucking
know."
hideout.
We got a team name. We got a vehicle.
They don't have a team name. They don't have.
No, they're calling themselves the Runaways. Even if they don't
No,
know it,
they
they
don't
do have
call-
a team name.
They call themselves the Runaways.
They do decide at some point they probably should come up with something, but they don't really. But this is what they start trying to give themselves superhero names.
Oh, cool.
Because Gert is like,
Gert sucks. I'm not going to use that
Gert
name.
calls her dinosaur Old Lace, and she's like, "Because I'm gonna call myself Arsenic, because I'm Arsenic and Old Lace."
Okay.
That's like an old movie.
Yes.
And she's really thinks that cool. And she's like, I'm not gonna go with
And
Gertrude.
she's a total
that was the
hipster,
movie.
so-
Well, she's like, that's the name they gave me. So she pulls.
Yeah, that was my slave name.
She says that at one point, which I was like,
Oh,
You can't say that. That's not yours.
no. But she just doesn't want to be associated with that name.
Oh, I
She's
understand.
really upset
yeah.
about
She wants
that.
a cool name. She wants
Um,
a real name.
And that's at the point that like Caroline is like, okay, call me Lucy in the Sky,
All right.
That's fun.
because like her parents gave her like a Beatles album that had like the
Aw.
greatest hits on it, and that was one of them.
Just kind of honoring her
Which,
parents. While
by the way,
also-
is shortened to LSD, which
Nice.
is kind of what she would look like
she
if
does
you were on
look.
LSD.
She is psychedelic as hell.
And then they're trying to figure out what to call
The
Chase,
idiot?
and he's like, call me Neo, and they're like, no.
What?
So like, we're not gonna call you that. They're like, we're gonna call you Talkback,
Talkback.
That's worse than Neo.
because they're like, that's what you do. You talk all the time.
Oh my god.
And
Why
then
don't
they,
they just call him dipshit or something equally insulting?
right?
Just call him Fire Fist.
They
I'm telling you,
just
Kid Fisto.
they call him Talkback. That's what they give him, and that's what he responds to. Nico decides to go with Sister Grimm,
Okay.
which is a name that sticks the entire time.
Okay.
She is Sister Grimm. Molly, they're like, we should call you Bruiser.
Yeah.
And she's like, I wanted to be Princess Powerful.
I like that.
That's
That's
a
cute
good name,
too.
too.
Yeah. So
Is she Princess Powerful?
she calls herself that. They refer to her as Bruiser.
Okay.
And
call her Tina.
Alex,
You're Bruiser now.
Alex is like,
And I'll be Alex.
He is. He's like, my name's Wilder. He's like, it's Alex
Because
Wilder.
his name is Alex.
Well, because he's like, they're like, but don't you want to like change your name? He's like, I understand that sucks and they gave it to me, but I'm gonna redeem my name.
Oh.
Like he's like had it with
Yeah.
these people, and he's like, here's the thing, like we've got all this power at this
Yep.
point. The least we can do until we can prove what our parents have done is try to make up for the shit they put into
That's
this
right.
world.
You could say that they have great power and they have a great
and
responsibility.
and then they pose for
a picture
that nobody took.
That's cool.
So they do
And
that.
then they canceled the book.
No. This book goes all the way to
I
issue
know,
18.
I
Go
know.
all the way.
And then they ruined it even further with more and more books. But
Right.
like,
No. Some of it's not bad. Some of it's meh. So the families start like gently fighting a little bit, not really. Like Carolina's mom, I'm sorry, Lucy's mom. I can't help but call her that.
yeah.
Lucy's mom shows up, or dad shows up, and it like freaks out for a second. They're like, chill.
Yeah.
We got this under control. We're gonna make this work. And he's like,
Right.
all right, fine, whatever. They all realize that they all know what their powers are. They kind of explain the plan where they're like, we're gonna frame them, and then they'll show up, and like someone's gonna find them. It's gonna be fine, and like we'll do it. Like it's totally cool. We got this under control.
Totes.
So Alex doesn't have any powers. Just going back.
Right, I was gonna say,
He's
yeah.
like Batman.
Well,
His
no,
parents are
his
he's like
parents
Batman.
explain. They're like Alex is a prodigy.
Oh.
Oh.
No, he's
Like
super
he's
smart.
a natural born leader,
Okay.
and so with him as a part of it, like naturally they are planning to overthrow us at this point, so they will come back.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
To
so-
battle us.
Exactly, and they're like, the fact is, he is going to figure out that book.
Yeah.
Like he has all the tools, and
right.
he's smart enough. He's gonna do it.
Well, Kid Fisto also doesn't have powers. He just has like tech. He's more the Batman.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, he really is.
Because he's got the tech,
Yeah.
but no powers.
Exactly.
Except he's also an idiot.
Exactly.
So this kid is more like Batman.
Everybody realizes they're starving.
Right.
Oh yeah.
They're
Oh,
teenagers.
they
We're
eat.
hungry.
Oh,
as
we
hell.
have no food.
So they eat a dinosaur.
Well, also, like, they're supposed to be going to school and shit. Like,
yeah. What the hell?
Well, Molly
They should go on,
is.
like,
Molly
private
was
school.
supposed to be in middle school at this point. Like, so she definitely was like, I guess I'm not in school anymore. And they're like, and Gert's like, no, you're not in school anymore. School's for the man.
Oh
And
man, she's a
man-
mutant. She could go to Xavier's school for gifted youngsters.
Yeah.
Exactly, right?
so at what point do they, like, try to find a hero to help
Yeah.
them?
What point do they call
They,
Heroes for Hire or
they,
something?
They call the Avengers early on.
Oh.
And
yeah, and
they
they get the
answering machine.
they get
and-
the voicemail.
And
Yeah,
then
well,
they
leave
just
a
give up
message.
because they're teenagers.
Well,
so
they're
I'm
like-
not using
they're
a
like, well, they-
message. Is there
like-
something I can text?
Yeah, it's
to-
true. I'm already on the phone.
Well-
I'm getting anxiety just talking
By
to
the way,
somebody.
they're also like freaked out because they know the cops are in the prize
Right,
pocket.
So they're like
So
listening
they're like,
in on
I don't
conversations.
know who I can trust.
You can trust the Avengers.
You can trust fucking Captain
Well,
America.
they
I
can't
guess.
get a hold of them.
Leave a message and wait.
So anyway, they go get food, and they're like, they leave Gert and Molly to guard the base.
With the dinosaur,
well,
I
to be
assume.
fair, it's like, what are they going to do with the dinosaur?
Yeah, the dinosaur.
Nothing. You just stay there.
So
yeah.
but the dinosaur's gonna follow Gert. It can't help itself.
So Gertie and the
they gotta stay
dinosaurs.
and guard. I'm sorry, Arsenic and Old Lace have to stay behind with Princess Powerful.
Now, which ones are the ones that are on the lam right now officially?
Yeah, who is
Being
being
looked for.
implicated?
Alex, Gert, and I believe Nico are.
So they should have been the ones to stay behind.
Yes, because
they can't be seen.
Their
Well,
faces
no,
are
wait,
everywhere.
they put on super awesome disguises.
Oh.
Oh, cool. You know what? They are teenagers in L.A. Like they
Yeah.
look like anyone.
Yeah.
And
Alex puts on a hoodie. That's a terrible idea.
right. Well, they dress up Carolina like she's French.
Yeah, what the hell?
This is a horrible plan.
She's
Yes.
French.
Yeah. Well, she looks
Sure.
Soccer blue.
Now you just have to pretend to speak French.
Right.
They just created a whole new set of
Yeah,
problems.
right. All they want to do is go to a convenience store, and the convenience store they choose is being held up.
Oh man, so they gotta be
of course.
superheroes.
So they're like, let's leave. And then some of them are like, no.
No,
No.
we have powers.
Because Alex is like, let's
I don't have powers.
He's like, we gotta go. And
Yeah.
they're like, didn't you say we gotta help? And he's like, we are not ready for this.
Yeah.
We got other stuff to deal with right now.
Exactly. So this is the point where Chase gives Nico his knife, and she cuts herself, and the
God.
staff emerges, and immediately they bust in, and like Carolina destroys like half of the shop, and she's like, "Sorry, I don't know what
We
I'm
saved
doing."
the day.
We legitimize the Superhuman Registration Act.
And there's like three guys with guns, and they're like, "It's the Power Pack."
Oh,
What?
The Power Pack are a team of children who have powers, and actually, the one who has like psychedelic, like flying base powers is very evocative of like the older sister who can
Okay.
turn into rainbows.
There you go. And they, by the way, the
That's
kids are
awesome.
like, "Who is the Power Pack?"
What?
Yeah, because that's before their time. That's Louise Simonson. They don't know. who it
Right?
is.
So this is when Nico tries to use freeze again, and pelicans show up.
Why?
Because it's a random effect now. If you use the same word, something random will happen. She can't control it.
That-
so
you
it's
know
like,
what?
It's like
That actually-
D&D. It's like rolling the Wand of Wonder.
Right, and it also works for them as teenagers because it's lol so random.
Right? Exactly. So they beat up the bad guys.
Do the
One of
Vulcans actually help?
no,
I mean, they distract
No.
people enough.
kind of. They like
They eat some pigeons
like,
and
kick-
everyone's like, "Oh!"
they kick
That is gross. Birds eating birds.
they started eating each other.
It's like when a bird gets caught in a spider
By
web.
the
It's
way,
just horrifying.
let's go over this real quickly. They destroyed the window in the front part of the convenience store.
Right, the
Yeah.
biggest.
They destroyed shelves, and they just left pelicans in the
Yeah.
wake of.
Oh, and they will be
They're the
crapping
worst stores
everywhere.
ever.
now.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
they saved the day.
They ruined the store. The store
Exactly.
will never open again.
It would have been
Exactly.
better if they just left with the $42 that was in the register.
Right.
Yeah, really?
So two of the bad guys escape.
Oh, even
I
better.
don't even saw the bad guys.
2 of them escape. They keep one of them,
No, they
which
get
Chase
one.
holds at knife point.
Oh, good. Yes.
Because they're the heroes.
Yeah, because he doesn't know what the fuck else.
Don't
to
go
do.
anywhere,
I
I'll
can
cut
either
you.
burn you to death,
Exactly.
or I can hold you at knife point.
Exactly. And they pull off this mask, and it's a kid, and he's like, "Don't hurt me. My parents put me up to this."
What?
Oh, wow.
And immediately they're like,
You remember the Runaways now.
"Dude, you don't even know how lucky you are today."
Yeah. We are literally a team of children who have been put up to evil ne'er-do-well by our villainous
Exactly.
parents.
There's
Exactly.
fucking pelicans standing around.
Everywhere.
This is
It's just-
awesome.
This is the greatest day in this artist's life.
So immediately they're like, "Oh, the cops are coming! Quick, everybody get in the van!"
Get into our windowless white van, which
Jesus.
is totally inconspicuous. To the van!
There's like a million white vans driving around the city all the time, right?
Yeah.
So no.
And they all have the same exact license plate number.
So they use smoke, and
From-
they from Nico's staff,
Oh,
and they like
magic smoke.
conceal
Jeez, you
their.
gotta stop using that staff, man. You only got so many
So many
fucking bullets
cuts,
in the
so
chamber.
much blood in your system.
Well, no, the staff is out. Eventually,
already has
it'll
it.
go back in.
Yeah,
Like,
but now
when
she
it's-
can't use smoke again.
Right,
Was that really
exactly.
the time to use the smoke?
I mean,
Well,
if
she's
they
a
get away, then it
teenager.
was.
Right? Exactly. So
Also, she can go smoke.
but she presumably does. So they get away. The kid kind of explains that, like, you know, like there was an accident at the power plant. His folks kind of got like sort of powers, not really.
What? His parents have powers too?
And they kind of like bullied him into doing this because like they're out of money because like they got fired and stuff
Right.
like that. So he's like, it's just a bad scene. And they're like, no, it's totally cool. And like all the girls are like, hey, it's totally fine.
Yeah, new kid, yay.
Meanwhile, because this was a convenience store robbery, there's footage of it which went to the police,
Oh,
which
God.
means that the Pride immediately knows what's happening.
And where they've been.
But they're like, who the hell are these people? We didn't give them a license to rob in our town.
Oh, no!
And they attacked our kids!
Yep,
Oh,
so now they're
man.
gonna get revenge on this kid's parents.
Exactly.
Who have radiation powers.
Right? So then, like, they go back to
They go back to
the
base.
base. The dinosaur immediately attacks the kid. And
Yep.
they're like, get off. Like,
Stop,
jeez.
please. Why doesn't this raptor eat anybody?
Because,
You're pretty disappointed that the raptor hasn't eaten anything.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I mean,
well,
it
they're
is a
still
raptor.
alive.
Did they bring food back for the raptor?
Presumably.
I would hope so.
Like raptor chow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like
Just
chicken
meat.
wings and shit.
But
Yeah.
no, by the way, they just steal stuff from the convenience store.
Oh,
They
of
just-
course.
Oh my god.
They're the worst
It's a
heroes
Cracker
ever.
Jack team.
Right?
I mean, what were they going to? They had to, like, they
no,
were
they
going to
had
steal, right?
they had
had
some
money.
money.
Oh.
But they opted not to
'Cause,
use
like,
it.
Did
they
they,
were
like,
like-
leave it on the counter?
Well, they were like, we have like this amount of money, and like they're like, there's no way we can get food for that. And Chase is like, guys, seriously, you guys are way too rich and privileged. Let me
Yeah.
show you. Let me take you to the convenience store.
Show
We will
you.
feast
Yes.
upon
on $7.
on
yeah.
hot dogs and yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and
I think they have like
combos.
$18. I don't know. So
enough.
there's like more sexual tension, of course. Immediately, Nico is into this new guy, even though she kissed Alex.
Oh.
Ooh,
What?
WB?
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, CW.
It's been like a day.
Yeah.
Right?
Hulu.
By the way, new kid's name, you can just call him Topher.
Really?
Topher?
There's only one person on the planet named Topher.
Well, like it's,
He sucks.
Yeah, his name is
All right.
Well,
Does he have any
one-
powers, too?
no,
He's just a guy.
Oh my
All
God.
he's a guy.
Great, we have 3 useless people on this team.
Right.
One who's leadership powers.
He's smart.
He
He's tactical.
inspires them. Yeah, great.
one who has-
His tactical mind got them on video closed circuit TV footage
Yep.
Exactly.
and
Well,
destroyed
remember,
a man's
he wanted
business.
to leave.
Yeah, but then
He
he
That's
wanted
didn't.
true.
to
That was
leave.
his. That
His
He
was.
should have
suggestion
sat
was
in
to
the
leave.
van. He should have been the driver.
Yeah, I think the one girl pushed. You know, she cut herself, and that was it.
Right.
He's
So
like, we're doing this.
drama happens. These two end up kissing. She's not okay with it.
Oh, he tries to push
Alex is spying
Oh.
on them through this painting.
Oh, good. What? Oh, jeez.
Oh, I don't like that.
It's
Right.
getting weird.
Oh, he's got multiple powers.
Then he shows up and
He
like
can
The
creep it
power
up.
beat at super
exactly. And Topher leaves, and then like he's like, "We need to talk, Nico." And they have like a relationship talk where he's like, "I really
We're
like you."
we're not in a relationship.
And like
let's
she's
talk
like,
about
look,
it.
and she tries to explain that she shouldn't have kissed him, but before she says that, he says, "I already know," and that's when he revealed it's a mess.
Yep.
It's a disaster. This
It's a
turns into a
disaster.
disaster. This
Yes.
is a dumpster fire of a conversation.
Right. Awesome.
So then she storms out, and like we see Chase trying to work on constructs. Essentially, he's trying to like
Like hard fire constructs.
yeah, like a guy
What?
he makes like a warrior.
He could do
Out
that
of
with
the
his
gauntlets?
How does he do that?
He's been working on it. He's like,
does
check
that
it
mean?
out. I can try to like use my mind to like mold things
What?
out of flame.
Well, if the gauntlets have like attached to him, then
Yeah.
they must be part of his central nervous system.
Exactly.
That
Exactly.
sucks.
Right. So, essentially, like, they have more angsty stuff going on, and then, like, Topher, like, runs into Carolina, and, they kind of spark up a little something,
Oh my
and
God.
she's like, you're kind of cute, and, like, she kisses him, and then Nico comes in, and then the girls start fighting.
Sweet.
Wow.
And
They just go right into it.
Woof.
Just like,
Right, and then, like, then she storms off.
Who does?
wow.
Nico, after
And
they...
Topher's like, this is kind of awesome, but like also like terrifying.
Yeah.
Because one of these girls is gonna kill me.
Yeah,
Right?
with their magic powers. And there's also a dinosaur that wants to
Yeah,
eat.
Oh, the
dinosaur.
dinosaur almost ate me already.
And by the way, the only part, like Gert is completely unimpressed by this guy, so she's just like...
He's just a dude.
Get out of here, weirdo.
It's-
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
He's a vampire.
What?
Because he's a vampire.
There are vampires in the Marvel Universe, so this is...
Yeah, but why would they think that's what it is?
Because it's a teenage book!
So there's vampires in it now, because teenagers read
now
it.
there's vampires.
And, like,
So he's a
essentially...
vampire?
Yeah, and he's actually the sire of the other two vampires. Like, he turned those two into vampires, like, way back in,
Like his
like...
parents?
Yeah, they're not parents. He's
No,
like,
his parents?
they're, like, drifters
Oh,
that
he
they
just
found.
lied.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a
yeah.
bad guy.
By the way, when the LAPD ran a trace on their fingerprints,
He's
they're
like
like...
1,000 years old.
Well, no, they found the parents' fingerprints were like from like the 30s. They're like, that's really
Oh,
weird.
That's
Yeah.
weird. And,
And-
we can't find anything on
Exactly.
this guy.
And this guy is like, Topher's like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to eat all your friends, but I'm going to turn to you, Sister Grimm, because
It's
I
a
like
vampire.
you. Like,
Yeah.
you're cool and you're
we'll live
sassy.
together and...
God.
Yeah, okay.
And she's like,
They have a new villain now to fight.
right? And
Stupid
she
vampire.
freaks out. And she's like, that's gross. Essentially. Like,
like, what?
no.
No,
And
you're
then,
supposed
like-
to be totally into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And by the way, like, he's totally very self-aware of everything, and like she's trying to like buy time to hopefully get help.
Right.
And he's like, okay, you're trying to make me talk, and like 5, whenever, it doesn't matter. I've got all the time in the world. I'm a vampire. The
Right.
sun is not coming up anytime soon.
It just got dark.
Yeah.
You're fucked.
You're totally fine.
Yep.
So, all right, well, I'll give you my backstory.
Right.
I'll tell you my entire nefarious scheme.
Right, and that's when he bites her and draws blood,
What?
and the staff of one emerges through him.
It just blasts through him. Awesome.
Shunk.
Yeah.
And she's now a vampire.
No, he just nicked her.
Yeah, but
He didn't
Nah,
like do the thing.
that's not
he
how
didn't
this works.
turn her.
And by the way, he doesn't die. He's like, look,
Right,
we
he's a
didn't.
vampire.
He's like, we didn't got that wrong. This, like,
He says we didn't got that wrong.
That's exactly
Oh
what
my
he
God.
says.
Wow.
And that's when he's like, it's that only sunlight can kill me.
Okay, and then Alex like killed with fire.
No, he just hits him in the head, and like they like run away after they're like, ah,
Well, that's
she's
their,
like,
that's
yay,
what
we're
they
great.
do. They're
And,
the
like,
runaways.
Exactly. And they go back and they're like, we gotta get out of here.
There's a lunatic vampire.
Oh god, they just got this hideout.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's so sweet.
Right, but like he shows back up and he's got her staff because
Oh,
she dropped it.
crap.
She dropped it.
She
I
dropped
thought
it.
it goes into her body when she used the damn
No,
thing.
it goes back into her body randomly. And she didn't do any spells,
Duh.
so she dropped it.
Why did she drop
She should have
it?
cast a spell that said "fucking kill the vampire."
Right, by the way, he doesn't use it for spells. He just hits her with it really hard.
Okay, well, this is if there was ever a time for a raptor, now is it.
Right, no, well, he is just disposing of people left and right. He's just ripping through the runaways.
He's
He
immune to
hits.
fire.
He immediately hits the dinosaur,
Damn it.
which hits Gert because they have like an emphatic,
Oh no.
Oh,
empathic,
jeez.
yeah,
Empathic.
empathic link between the two of them.
That sucks.
So
Right.
like when one gets hurt, the other one feels it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they're
And like
twins.
Molly's kind of down for the count because like she's exhausted.
Right.
So
Hey, Molly-
She's
to
still
take a nap.
exhausted from that one punch from
Well,
earlier in the book.
she just turned. Remember, like she just became a mutant. So like Carolina's
She
like
hasn't had any food.
Carolina's like
That's true.
she is so confused and upset about everything that's happened. She's like, you can just kill me. I don't care.
Right. Because I have nothing to live for.
I have nothing. Like my family is like a sham. Like I had a like super happy, awesome family. I'm an alien. Which makes me even
Apparently.
more of an outcast as a teenager than I
Yeah,
thought I was.
literally
Yeah.
alienated.
So he's like,
Everything.
okay, cool, Blondie. Let's see how this goes. And he bites her, and he's like, you taste. Oh my god, you taste like sunlight, because she's solar powered.
Oh.
And he explodes.
Ah!
And they're like,
Awesome.
dude, that's an awesome plan. And she's like, that was not my plan.
I wanted to die."
really wanted to
Yeah.
die.
Oh boy.
That's really cool.
Right. So, by the way, the Pride does catch up with these guys and totally kill them. Like,
Oh, the drifter parents.
yeah. And by the way, they don't just kill them. They open the roof of something and let the sunlight kill them. Like,
Oh.
Sweet.
they yeah, no.
Good.
But they, by the way, these two can feel that like their sire died essentially.
Oh.
Oh.
And like the
Like,
parents,
thank you.
the parents are really proud
What?
of their kids for killing this guy.
Oh.
They're like, awesome.
You killed a vampire.
Okay, this is where this book takes a hard turn, and we have a totally different artist come on board for these next two
oh,
stories.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
that's hard.
That is
Because
totally different.
remember the guy who's like part of like who
The
works for
lieutenant?
Pride? He calls in Cloak and Dagger. He's like, that's what I'm gonna do to fix all of this. I'm gonna call in Cloak and Dagger.
Wasn't Lieutenant on the take?
He is on the take.
Cloak and Dagger are not bad guys.
Oh no, he crafts that story. He uses the story.
Oh, the story about like they're gonna go find the Runaways.
Yeah, and that's
Cloak
kind of
and
what
Dagger.
these two specialize in because like they got their powers in the 80s from like drugs.
Yes, Cloak and Dagger are the original Runaways.
Yeah.
They were homeless teenagers who were experimented on and then
Okay.
turned out to be mutants. But then they retconned in that it wasn't.
Right, and they
mutants
also
because-
pose a lot.
They do.
Like they pose a
Yeah.
lot. She pose,
Yeah.
just constantly posing. So they give them the file, and they're like, all right, we're gonna find these
So-
runaways.
So does the Pride not know that he's doing this? Because I would think they'd be like,
They
no,
were like, don't bring superheroes into this.
Yeah, because they'll figure out.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
No, he's like, I'm
gonna take some initiative.
Yeah.
I'm a go-getter.
Yeah, you're gonna go get killed.
And now they don't have to change their hideout because they killed that guy.
Yeah, they kill
totally
that
killed
guy.
It's totally fine. So they totally decide that like they're still working through the book and stuff like that, but they decide that they should just go and like fight crime.
Do we know what's in the book yet?
No, not yet. We won't.
Alright.
He's still working through it. Like he's like, this is like really
Dude, you have one
hard.
job.
He's been working on it. He's been working
He's
on
like
it.
reading it's just a rambling lunatic's diary. That's what a crazy person would write.
Well, this book is interesting, and we'll go over that later.
Okay.
So they decide they're gonna go and
Maybe get food finally.
they're gonna get food. They're gonna go out and like fight crime. They're gonna do all kinds.
They're gonna
of
fight
things.
crime. Cool.
Right,
They're
and
gonna
they
steal some food because that's really all they can do.
That's all they can do. And
Right.
That seems to be the only thing they can do. They can kill vampires and steal.
exactly. By the way,
And
they
destroy
make a
property.
Schwarzenegger reference in here.
Who do?
The Pride.
Did they make a Governator reference?
No, they mentioned that like Nico's parents used the spine of Agamotto to install him as governor.
What?
What?
Okay.
That is bizarre.
They do all kinds of like they're having a kind of like a meeting where they're just talking about okay, what's the Pride been up to
Yeah,
lately?
what's new? Yeah.
What's new in the Pride?
Let's read over the minutes.
Right,
They also
exactly.
rob cavefish of their sight and rig every Oscar night.
Yes.
They're still waiting for another message from the mole and stuff like that, and like this is where like that lieutenant shows up and he's like, "Don't worry, guys, I got
Cloak
this
and-
covered.
Superheroes are on the case.
I brought this in." And they're like, "I'm sorry, what?"
Get my ritual knife.
And that's where actually
trunk.
Alex's mom's like, "I'm sorry, you did what? I'm sorry, you brought superheroes into my town, into my town."
Technically,
She
they
grabs a
live
gun
there.
and she kneecaps him
Oh.
Oh, shit.
right there.
Damn.
She takes his gun. I'm sorry, she takes his gun and she kneecaps him.
Okay.
Nice.
And she's like, "We are going to have to do something about this, ladies and gentlemen."
Eh.
Nearly out of the gate, Dagger attacks Nico.
Okay.
She's down for the count. She uses her light daggers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kapoom. Down for the count. Sister Grimm, done. So, Lucy and Chase go in. I'm sorry, Carolina and Chase go in.
Now, have they never heard of Cloak and Dagger? I assume that Alex would know who Cloak and Dagger
So
are.
they
He plays
refer to
Marvel
them as
MMOs.
B-listers?
Yeah, Cloak swallows up,
Other
Lucy.
attacks.
Oh,
Oh.
crap, and takes her to the dark dimension.
Yeah, exactly.
Where-
Immediately.
Which is completely devoid. It's like a black hole.
Right, and then they feed Chase into there.
Oh, my God.
And then, they take Alex and Nico.
Yep.
So they're like,
They are giving no quarter to these
no,
filthy
by the way, I mean, these guys did what the Pride could not. Immediately,
Yeah.
they were like,
well, because
done,
they're
bam.
actual, like,
They know what they're
competent
doing.
fucking people.
Right.
Dagger
By the way-
sets him up, and then Cloak fucking sucks him into
yeah,
another
he's like,
dimension.
knock him down. And by the way, Alex does try to explain. She's like, no. Then Gert and Molly show up, and they, like, make fun of them, and then they explain everything that's going on, kind of, but it's, like, it's barely working.
Like,
Old Lace takes care of Dagger by hitting her super hard with his tail.
Okay.
And then Cloak goes to try to help her, and Molly grabs his cloak and rips it off of him.
Oh!
Which apparently is like
it's part of him.
it's like impossible to do, and
You
only
can't do
someone
that.
of great strength could do so.
Okay.
And it reverts him back to his regular
Oh, shit.
self. So he's like totally normal, and he's like, "You severed my connection to the dark dimension, thus screwing your teammates."
Yes.
Dagger uses her light energy to like power him back up in
they
a
also
way.
draw power from each other, so
Yeah. Well,
Dagger should be severely depowered as a result.
yeah, I guess so. So like she does
she's
that.
got, like, a minute before it drains.
Right.
Like,
So he becomes Cloak again, and they like
and
release
he
them.
vomits up the
Exactly, and then they have a sit down, and all the superheroes talk.
Were
Okay,
those
good.
demons like menacing them in the dark dimension?
Yeah.
when they
He
go.
sends people to a place where like shit could like eat them.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Well,
dark
'cause he
dimension
thinks
is not a
they're-
friendly, hospitable place.
He thinks they're bad. Like he thinks they're real.
Well, so they should be eaten by demons.
They talk about the whole thing, blah blah blah, and they're like, "We try to get help from the Avengers," and she's like, "Well, I kind of know some of them. Like, I
Yes.
know Captain America. I can put you in touch with them."
Good.
And they're like, "Good, that's awesome." And they're like, "You could come with us," and they're all like, "I cannot go back into the dark dimension,
Right.
Yeah.
so I
have
can't."
scars
No, they
from
need to
life.
teleport. I would go back to the dark dimension to like.
So they
fucking-
decide they're going to go back into hiding and just wait for the Avengers to show up,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, that's a good plan.
Well, that's a plan.
right? So they're like, "Okay,
Oh, wait, I'm
that's
sorry.
fine."
What year is this?
2004? Yeah.
Oh, that's probably a bad idea
Why?
because Civil War is coming.
Oh.
Let's wait for the Avengers. Oh, they all got new dick measuring
Well,
contests.
it doesn't even matter because the Runaways leave, and Cloak and Dagger are waiting because Cloak's like, "All right, I think I'm about charged up and I'm ready to go. Like, I can actually make it." And that's when the Pride shows up
Oh my god.
And they take out Cloak and Dagger?
immediately.
Oh.
Immediately, Caroline's like alien parents
Didn't
take
have a
care of them,
second.
Yeah.
and then Molly's parents, the mutants,
Yeah.
wipe their minds.
Oh, of the experience.
Exactly, and they make them think that they just drank too much, which is going to put in all the questions into their head, so they don't remember to ever do any of the things they said they were going to.
And then
But-
they just send them back. They just go on
And
their
they
way.
go back, and then they get to be in Civil War.
Right, exactly, and the Runaways don't know that this happened.
Right.
So they just assume things like
They're
gray
just-
skies are going to clear up.
Literally, they have just been like it's been a week, and they have just been sitting there waiting for the
Wow.
Avengers.
to come.
They're like maybe they're like doing something.
Right.
Like that's kind of
Maybe
their
they're saving the world. or
right,
something.
exactly.
So
but
this allows them to develop a resentment for authority and superhero
kind
teams.
of, yeah. They're like, well, maybe they're whatever, but it doesn't matter because Alex finished deciphering the book.
Oh, cool.
Yay.
And it
All
tells
right.
the story about each of their parents and essentially how they were all doing their random parody things, being like stealing from people back in the 80s.
We're getting origin stories. For
We're
this
getting
thing.
normal parent things.
we're establishing very brief origin stories. Like these two got stuck in the 80s when their time machine or fourth dimension machine broke, and these guys are being stoned by mutant haters and stuff like that. But they were like summoned by this otherworldly voice, and they like disappear, and like all of them show up, and none of them know each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And they end up in this place that looks like they're in Atlantis, but it's not.
Oh, okay.
And then like this voice comes out, and like these Gibberum show up, or Gihibrum. They're like really huge giants with like 6 fingers and 6 toes, and they look really unimpressed by everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gibberum. Yeah,
They look
just
like gods.
yeah, they're like maybe they're celestials. I don't know. There's something.
They shouldn't be celestial.
They are created by Brian Vaughan.
Right.
Okay.
They have never existed before, and they will never be used again.
And essentially they brought these people together because they're like, we want to like fix the world, and we're gonna need you to help to do that.
Right.
And by fix the world, we mean destroy all of mankind.
Right.
Yes, because they
By the way,
fucked up.
the
They're like
mutants,
elder
and, the
gods,
mutants and
or-
the aliens are like, yeah,
Right, because the
let's
world's-
do it.
Those who inherited the Earth are doing it wrong. So
Exactly, and like they're like, but our powers aren't great enough, so you're gonna have to help us essentially,
So
and
they
like,
enhance their
and like
powers.
essentially they call these people together because like we need these young people, like these young versions of like the thieves, the travelers, the magicians, the outcasts, the wise men, and the colonists.
okay.
So it's like it's this whole prophecy kind of
Yes,
thing, right?
I see. I see.
And then we're gonna need you to do these things, and like what we'll do is like we're gonna destroy humanity and blah 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 blah. But 6 of you will live, and it's gonna be random. It's gonna be whoever serves us best.
Oh.
So you better be good, for goodness sake.
Or the Gibber will come and get you.
Exactly. And they're like, but that's dumb.
Yes.
And they're
That
like,
sucks.
And they're like, what's in it for us? And they're like, well, for the next 20 years, essentially, or 25 years, or whatever it is, you will live with, like, we're going to enhance your powers. We're going to give you everything you ever wanted.
Right.
Okay.
Right? And all you got to do is, like, kill, like, a young girl every year.
Yeah.
And
in
then-
your house.
In your house.
with
and
a
then,
silly dagger.
With a silly dagger.
And
And
say
then
some words.
take her soul and put it into a container and feed it to us. And once we have enough souls...
Sweet.
I don't know. That sounds really evil.
Yeah. You know what I would do after that meeting? I would go to fucking
None
Bleecker
of these-
Street and call Dr. Strange.
None of these people are good necessarily.
No, it's true. They're all bad folks.
The mutants are on board because they don't like humans. The
Right.
aliens are on board because they don't care either.
Yeah.
The criminals are on board because they were criminals anyway. The magic users are like, this is kind of up my alley. The people from the fourth dimension are like, in every single version of the future that we've seen,
It gets destroyed.
superheroes ruin everything. So
Yeah.
screw it. And the scientists are like, well, we're mad scientists. Cool, let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah, but some of you are also humans.
Right?
Yeah,
They don't
it's
really
your-
care.
it's your
But they're
planet.
like, but we got a 50-50 chance because you know what? They're going to find someone else to do it anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Fair
So
enough.
at one of their meetings later on down the road, I think it's Chase's family reveals that they're pregnant.
Oh,
And they're like, are you going to keep the baby? Really? Because, like, it's just going to die. And they're
Yeah.
like, no, what I'm going to do is if we're selected, I'm going to give my, like, place in, like, paradise to my child.
Oh,
And then the rest, like, some of the other families are like, we kind of want to have a family, too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they all essentially decide, begrudgingly, by the way, because the mutants are like, that's not fair, because we don't know if we can even have a baby.
Right.
So they decide all that they're going to have these kids, and they're going to give their spots to each of the kids.
So
Okay.
they know that the kids will be.
Which is why they desperately want the kids
To, like,
back,
work together.
because
and-
they're like, Jesus Christ,
Yeah, we did everything for you.
the past 15 years, we've been doing everything for you,
We've
little
been killing
brats.
people.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, we've, like,
Yeah.
We sold our souls to the devil.
Yeah.
So that you could survive, and you're fucking it up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's when the lieutenant shows up.
And discovers them in their little hideout. Okay.
Right, exactly.
How do they find them?
Oh, he got a call
From the mole.
Oh, from the mole.
from the mole. He got a call.
Why is his
Oh.
leg broken? What happened?
Well, he got
she-
kneecapped.
He
that's
got
right, she
kneecapped.
fucking shot
Okay,
him.
wait. We have a panel here where we have all the kids and their reactions. Who is the least surprised? Looks like it's the blonde.
Well, she looks like she's happy though. Maybe
Oh,
that's just
yeah.
the poor drawing. Okay.
Okay.
That one I can tell you right now. The person who draws this, like, they draw really weird lips.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh, anyway,
Alex
I
doesn't
wanna-
look super surprised.
No, that's true. He's like, All right, anyway.
It's well drawn, so you can't really tell.
Right.
Yeah.
So, by the way, this entire book is, like, filled with lines, things,
That
actions,
indicate.
every single person.
Could
Right.
be.
They implicate everybody, yeah.
Everyone is implicated.
Yeah.
Except really Gert.
Right.
Because, you know, Gert the entire time is like, down with the man!
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that'd be
So-
the irony of ironies that she was like, actually, I need the man.
Exactly, right?
Without
So-
the man, I have no one to rail against.
Sister Grimm goes, rock and roll.
Which
Rock
she
and
says.
Which brings the whole cave down on them. She's like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
I can't control the intensity of this. This is really not what I meant. So, like, they're in a lot of trouble. Lucy, like, holds it up, but, like, it's nighttime. At night, her power, like, diminishes because she has to be recharged. So she's barely keeping this, like, up.
This is an image from Secret Wars where the Hulk saves the entire Marvel superhero team, where like the mountain is
I
dropping them by
remember that,
Doom, and
yeah.
Hulk's holding them up.
Yeah.
Although I would expect the kid.
Well, the kid punches them out.
Oh, she punches through.
She punches through
That's
the rock.
cool.
So she's holding up the ceiling, and the kid goes for it, and, like, this is a team effort.
Right. The
Because
team all works together.
they use-
Alex is like, let's go through the hole
Well,
that she
yeah.
punches.
Well, no, what they do is, and then they use Chase's X-ray specs, and he can see through the rock. And
oh,
he's
to see
"We're
like
clear."
weak points and how
Well,
to
not
get...
just that, but he's like, there's no cops on the other side of this wall. We're going through here.
Cool, okay.
So they get out. Like some of the pride shows up. They've
Yeah.
completely failed. This is the point that Alex's dad totally just kills the lieutenant. He's
Yeah.
like, no.
No more.
Okay.
You failed me for the last time.
Exactly. No, you almost killed our kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, you're done. Like he told
Yeah.
me, he Vaders it up.
Why didn't you
Like,
just put sleeping gas in there or something? Like, why did you have to be like, we got
Ta-da!
you?
Because he's,
What do you gotta do now?
he's a go-getter.
Use our
Yeah.
powers, you jackass.
So then essentially they're like, we are screwed, and the only
Yeah,
course of
the
action
pilot's gone.
is to go after our parents.
Right, we gotta fight.
We gotta defeat this
We're
problem.
gonna like that's the only thing that they won't expect,
Yeah.
Right.
right? Like we're just gonna like and like Alex is like, well, actually I don't know if it's Alex. It's somebody's like, we couldn't even handle a 16-year-old kid,
Yeah, the vampire kid.
right?
No, they did though.
Well, they did.
But
They-
they did, but
Well,
then
only
like,
because one of them wanted to die.
Yeah.
So-
One of them was trying to cheat code her way out of life.
exactly. So they decide that they'll use the book to try to figure out when is the best time to do that because this book is writing itself as they're going.
Oh my god.
It writes. It's like
a
it's
It's like
the
the
past,
Necronomicon.
present, and future. It's all
Oh,
of
it's
it.
got the-
So then we have a nice little conversation between the deans and like the aliens and the mutants.
Okay.
Have a conversation.
Yeah, okay.
And they've got like their own little plot, and their plot is they're going to kill everybody else, and then they're going to take the 6 slots for their families.
Naturally.
Because they're like screw humans,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
right? And they're like because when we go to see the Gibberim, Gibberum, yeah,
Gibberum, whatever, yeah.
to give them the soul, they have to leave all their weapons behind, and we're the only ones with power.
Yeah, we have weapons.
We
that
got real
we are weapons.
powers, and we're
Right.
going to use them to kill all of them.
Yes.
And then the Gibberum, we're going to be like, hey, that's awesome.
Right.
Right. And they're gonna be like, you.
Like, it's all cool in the gang. Huh?
Right.
And then the Gibberum are just like, no, none of you survived. Are you retarded?
Are you stupid? I'm fucking...
So
We're evil.
So, by the way, but they, oh my god. So I'll get into that. But like they use the ring to figure out that this is going to happen, and they know also that they won't have their weapons.
Right.
So they're like, this is the best
So
time.
we're all gonna go meet with the Gibberum.
Yeah, we're going to show up with our weapons.
Wow.
So they trudge through all this stuff and like whatever. They go to see the Gibberum. They use this thing called the leapfrog, which is something that Chase's
Oh.
family
Invented.
and it's like
Cool.
it's land and water based.
Okay.
It can jump really high.
It's
a frog.
It's a
Like a
frog.
frog.
Yeah.
Alright.
It's
It's an amphibious vehicle.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Sister Grimm uses a bubble.
Right.
Which they're all like, seems like a bad idea.
They've probably played Sonic before. They know how to use bubbles.
Right, and they kiss some more.
Oh, Alex and Sister Grimm or whatever.
Well, he's like, because he's like, what if we die?
Right, we're back.
And like, also
Fall
he's
back.
like, I totally trust her, and I'm gonna prove it because he's
Yeah.
trying to like rally everyone.
Yes,
to
trying
go
to
with him.
lead.
Well, because to be fair, I would not want to get.
Yeah.
They get there. They arrive, everything's cool, right? And then there's this guardian that shows up.
Oh.
It's like it's the threshold guardian
Yes.
shows up, and they have to defeat him.
She says,
Hey,
flame
he
on.
says flame on.
Well, yeah, because like he calls him a thing ripoff.
That's fun. So he's like, well, then I'm a Johnny Storm ripoff.
Right,
bitch.
exactly. But that just sets it on fire, so now they're just
That's a
dealing.
flaming
That's a
golem.
fire. And yeah, that sucks.
Exactly. So it's real bad. And it's about to kill Gert.
Oh no.
So like he runs in the water to like get it to go in there to like basically.
Cool off.
Yeah, exactly.
Chill out.
And it like just beats the shit out of him. Like it just
Oh.
pummels him.
Oh, cool.
And
Well,
then
he should be dead.
Molly like leaps into action to try to stop it.
Yeah.
So she's like beating him up, and like he figures out, like Alex figures out how to stop
defeat
it.
the
Like
golem
he's
or
using the
whatever.
ring, and he figures out like that there's basically a code that deactivates the security.
Okay.
Which is better than password this time, by the way. They actually tried with this one.
Oh, wow.
Because presumably it's not theirs, it's the Gibberum. So
Right. So the
Right.
Gibberum a better password than the kid.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
Parents.
give her more.
Or it doesn't matter.
cares, yeah.
But they pull Chase out of the water, and he's not breathing.
Oh.
So he does die.
What?
Oh shit!
But they use CPR.
Oh. alright.
He medically died.
This is for me, this is a perfectly written teenage scene. In as much as everyone is shouting what to do, and Gert is just holding him, and all she can say is like, "Tell me what to do," because she doesn't like
She doesn't know what
any
to do,
intelligence she had is gone.
Yeah.
Because this kid is dead,
Right.
and like Lucy's yelling to do the Heimlich maneuver to get the water out, and
That's
like
not how that
Molly
works.
is like, "My parents are doctors, and I know what to do," and they're all just yelling, and so they make their way through to actually doing CPR, and they bring him back, and these two immediately hook up.
Oh.
Because, like, she saved him, he
Gert
saved her.
and Chase.
Yeah, Chase and Gert immediately just hook up right there.
Nice.
They're making out. But he's down for the count.
Yeah,
Right, he's not going to be fighting any
but like,
Gibberums.
I could kiss
Right.
you, but like I can't really
But-
stand.
But, like, I totally just died.
Unless you like want to get down, in which case I have enough energy, I think.
You might have to be on top.
So, like, they're like, we're screwed. Like, without Chase, like, it's just a few of us. And
Whatever, he's just got fire hands. Who cares?
Right, but that's still one more power that they had. Remember, Alex has no powers.
Right.
Gert really
You got
doesn't
the
have any
fucking
powers.
staff of magic.
I
and
know,
You got the
know.
light powers.
So what they decided is like Chase is like, take my gauntlets and go.
Oh, he could
I thought you
take him
could
off.
take him off.
He figures out how to take them off.
Oh,
okay, cool.
Dude, he figured that out like days ago.
It's either that or when he
This is
died.
a teenager who needed access to his hands. He mastered those gauntlets
figured that
within
out.
like an hour.
Right? He's like, okay, how do I get these off?
I gotta get these things off. I'm surrounded by girls.
So he also gives Nico his switchblade. He's like,
Oh, good.
You're gonna need that.
You're gonna need to be a punk.
You're gonna need
So,
a knife.
Yeah, you're gonna need.
Right.
Against
'Cause bitches
these
get stitches.
Fucking gods.
So then we cut to the Pride, who are like gonna be doing their whole thing, and like.
And
you
this is
know-
also like gonna be their big coup d'état. They're gonna be like, whoa, we're gonna kill.
Is this the final like?
No,
so-
it's
okay,
not,
It's just a
like,
random.
But they
because-
did just meet.
well,
so-
because don't forget, remember the 18, the emphasis on 18?
Oh, yeah.
Because that's when they were all going to die.
Right.
Except the kids.
Yes.
So that's why they all had those wills set up for when they were 18 or like for like in the future.
Right.
It was all at the same time. So they really have like another 3 years that this is supposed to go on, but these
Yeah.
guys are just done.
Yeah, the
They're
mutants
done
and
with-
the aliens are
They're
like,
done
no
with dealing
more.
with this. Everything's falling apart anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
might
The
as
kids,
well.
so who cares?
Yeah,
you know?
sweet, cool, kill him.
A fight breaks out
Sweet.
Naturally.
and
fight.
they're doing pretty well, by the way. And like the kids figure it out way faster than most superheroes do. I gotta tell you.
Like teaming up and how to like.
Well, because Gert goes over to her folks and Carolina goes over to her folks, and they're like both like it doesn't work like that, and they're like, oh yeah, no.
We've got to trade partners.
But they already had that plan. They just they lured their parents into a false sense of security because they thought they were stupid because they're teenagers, and they're like, ready, switch.
Yes.
And the dinosaurs take out the Deans immediately,
Cool.
and Caroline immediately takes out Gert's family. Like these kids, they got it.
Yeah. They've read a few comic books in their day.
Well,
Right.
Right.
They also planned it. You know, they
had time.
the element of surprise.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's true.
Exactly. Molly's folks take out Nico's parents, but then Molly's family gets a hold of Gert, and they like smack her real good, which like makes the dinosaur kind of like
it's disoriented.
well, he doesn't know what to do.
Right. Yeah, because they're all of them are connected to him in
Right.
some way.
Well, yeah. So like nobody's controlling the dinosaur.
Oh, jeez.
So you got a
So he goes
rogue
rogue.
dino.
Well, except that this is when the mole is revealed.
Oh.
It's Alex.
Oh, I was gonna say
That's my
Alex
second
originally.
guess.
And by the way, Gert told the dinosaur, old Lace, she's like, if I go down, you listen to Alex.
Oh,
no.
That's the worst.
Let me tell you something. Alex has been planning this a year out.
What? He figured it all out like a year
Alex
ago?
found, like, the previous year when all the kids were hanging out, he found the secret passageway.
That's why he forced
He
his...
saw the murder. He was taking all this time to figure it out. Like, he didn't want to, like stir anything up because he wasn't sure what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and he started to, like, research and read, and he figured out the tome way early on. And, like, and he figured out that the mutants and the aliens had a plan.
Oh,
Because
wow.
when he was reading the book, they came in to steal some stuff and to remove pages because it was writing.
Because it was writing what they were doing?
As soon as they had the thought, it wrote it in the book, so they had to, like, take it out of all the books. So he heard the plan, so
Okay.
he was keeping it down, but he couldn't tell anybody because if he did, then it would be in the
It
book.
would be in the book, yeah.
Right,
So
right.
he couldn't tell anyone. So he knew he had to use the kids. And he had to, like, set up his soldiers, as he called them.
Right. Oh, shit.
But his
Oh,
plan
wow.
was to save Nico and her family because he was in love with her.
Oh.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So he has all the balls at this point.
Yes.
He's got it all. He knocks out, like, Caroline.
And
He's got
Lucia.
he's got the gauntlets.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
He ends up taking her staff. He's got the dinosaur.
Shit.
He's got the dinosaur.
He's got the gauntlets. He's got the magic staff.
He's got it all, and he has it all figured out.
Right.
And like, it's like it totally like Nico is just like, this is a plan, right? Like
Yeah.
you're just luring your parents into a false, like, she
Yeah.
He's
can't
like, no, bitch.
buy
Yeah.
it even remotely. He's like, no, don't you get it? Like,
I did it for you.
well, he's like, no, like, my parents are right. Like, things are totally screwed up, and like they just care about us a lot, and like, you know, he tries to like sway her,
Right.
and he's like, I thought that like, you know, like we would be the ones who were left, and like, you know, like we would carry on the pride, and maybe our children. And she's like, not even if you were the last loser on Earth at this point. Like,
Wow.
no.
Yeah.
And Nico's parents are like, honey.
Yeah.
Just a-
You did a pretty good job.
Everybody, really. I mean,
That was fucking impressive.
that's a
You
solid
should give
plan.
him a chance.
You
Yeah.
could do worse.
Yeah. The leapfrog shows up.
Oh no!
Because Chase was like, I couldn't wait for you guys
I
anymore.
can drive a car.
And I figured out how to hotwire this thing. Because, well,
Yay.
my parents thought I was an idiot. I'm really good at this stuff.
Oh,
Like, I have,
yeah.
like, I can't
I
help
got
it.
a trade. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good at this. So he brings it in, and he's like, what the heck's going on? And he goes like, I will explain it to you later.
Yeah. Just punch everybody and Alex.
And also Alex. Sticks to the plan, and also Alex the bad guy.
Exactly. And Nico destroys the fistigons. That's what they're called.
Oh, okay.
The gloves.
Good, because those things are stupid.
She destroys them right off the bat.
What does she destroy him with?
Magic.
She says, hands off.
Ah.
Okay.
That's fun.
And Nico's like, all right, or Nico's family was like, all right, it's done, stop. They're going to use magic. Everybody's kind of like coming back. They're trying to figure this whole thing out.
Yeah.
And Molly grabs the soul
Of the girl?
of the girl.
Oh.
And
What's she gonna do?
and they're
What are
like,
you gonna do with that soul?
and they're like, okay, whoa, put it down, because
we need that soul.
the Gibber are going to be here.
They're gonna be super
and they're
pissed.
gonna
that we
want
don't have a
that.
soul.
Yeah.
And she's like, you can't, no, you killed that girl. You can't just, no, you can't feed this soul to somebody.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let you do that. She destroys the offering, and the Gibberum show up, and they're
They're
like,
yo, where's my soul?
Hey,
that's pretty much it.
what
They're like,
happened?
oh, they still look completely unimpressed,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but they're real mad.
But
you
now
can tell.
there's a reason to be unimpressed.
Right, but they're
Yes.
still, they're mad.
Yeah.
Right.
And
You can't tell from our faces because we're expressionless, but we are.
right, and Alex's dad gets everyone gets on their knees and they're like, "What? Sorry, we'll fix it. Don't worry." Like,
Except for the Runaways, they're like, fuck you.
yeah, well, no. Alex is like, "What are you doing? Don't just be on your knees to your boss. That's stupid. No, like,
God.
oh my god, don't even do that." He's
Oh,
like,
geez.
this was my fault. Like, blah, 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 blah.
He's trying to appeal to them on like an equal basis.
Right, he's trying to be like, I'm an adult.
Right.
Oh my
And they're-
God.
And they're like, we totally, like, the Gibber, I'm like, we really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Kill. They set him on fire and he becomes a skeleton.
But not like in a magic kind of way.
No.
Like in a my muscles and bones all melted kind of way.
Yeah, exactly.
That sucks.
That's awesome. For him.
Exactly. And essentially they're like, you failed the Rite of Thunder, which is what this was called, and everything's over. You broke the line.
Right.
Nothing can happen now.
Oh, the whole thing.
The whole thing's screwed.
The whole thing's screwed.
And they're like, we're going to use the last hour of power to destroy all of you.
What? Just them?
Yeah, the Gibber like are real petty.
Wow.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, you know what? Like an ancient race of beings that have that are imbued with the power cosmic and shit, like calling up a bunch like 6 or 7 assholes and being like, "Go be evil
Right.
and steal souls." Like, yeah, they are the kind of people who are like, "We lost all of our
Exactly.
shit. I guess I'll just melt it all down.
Yeah, I'm just going to kill all of you.
How about I just fart in the elevator?"
not the human
Ew.
race, just everyone in the room.
Yeah, just everyone in the room
all
needs
the
to
parents
die.
and the kids. And,
Me too.
And I gotta
Ugh.
tell you, like, out of everybody, Nico's family is the coolest. Her mom is like, Nico, I want you to get out of here. We
Right.
will, like, regardless of what we did, we're gonna try and like hold them off.
Yeah.
Cool.
And she's like, I can't let you do that. Like, I love you. And they're like, I'm still your parents, and you have to go now.
Right.
So like, they legitimately self-sacrifice,
Yeah, they
even though
kind
they're
of-
total jerks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this was always the plan in a sense, was
Yeah,
for the kids
was
to
to
survive.
die.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
Exactly. And
like,
then
this is just not quite how we imagined it.
Yeah.
Right.
So the runaways, I guess, pile into the
all
fucking
the runaways
leapfrog.
pile into the leapfrog.
Hey, they got an upgrade. Went from the van
All right,
to a
to the
cool frog
leapfrog,
van.
which looks like it's stoned all the time.
That's awesome.
So all the parents stay behind to fight the Gibber to like essentially like just try to like
To hold
Not
them
die.
off.
hold them off and not
Yeah.
like
Or
not
maybe beat them, but I
Right, probably
assume
not.
Yeah.
And like it's so funny because they get in there and like Chase is like, I'm sorry, what the hell just happened to Alex?
Yeah.
Could you?
Could
Was
I-
I not
Alex
really
Mills?
devastated by
Sorry,
that?
he's a skeleton now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like not in the Ghost Rider sense.
No, like he's dead.
All right. So then they leave and Captain America finally shows up.
Well, how do you even find out?
I don't know.
You know what? I think I don't know.
Maybe they got their message.
Maybe
What
they,
if
I
it's
think
explained in
I
a
think
fucking
they
tie-in?
Ugh.
I think that they did just finally like check the machine.
They probably did.
Oh,
like
so they did leave a message.
Oh no, they did. They left a message.
Oh, I thought they
I
hung
thought
up.
they just were like, ah, fuck it.
That's funny. Yeah. Hey, Captain America, we're a bunch of kids, and the fucking pride's gonna attack us, and blah blah. We gotta go.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
this literally shows up when it's too late to do anything.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
but-
Cap can tie a bow on it because it's like
Yeah, we
Yes.
can like get them.
we
off
can give these
to, like,
kids
one
Right.
like
list.
homes.
And
Yeah.
and so essentially that's kind of where this arc ended, and then they do this follow up issue, and then there's like another issue that explains kind of what happened to Sister Grimm during
Okay.
this, but like this issue kind of cleans it all up.
Okay.
Okay.
And it's-
Wraps it up in a neat little package.
Exactly.
Because it looks like the news. Oh, Captain America! What exactly happened at the end of Runaways?
That's kind of what it is, sort of. Not
Well,
really.
you know, they defeated a bunch of silly ass
So-
monsters
well-
that all killed themselves, so we don't have to deal with them in the future.
They're like, well, the Avengers showed up and they like broke up this organization called the Pride.
They didn't do shit.
Well, no, but even the news organization is like, but like, rumor has it that the actual like six families or 12 individuals who were behind the Pride were defeated by none other than their children.
Right.
Like, right, and then like the news reporters are
guess-
like, is it true that like one of them was a mole? Like it's just like
Oh
this.
my god. Is it true that we're wrapping up everything that
by the
happened?
way,
We're
Cap-
point by point.
Cap is like, even if like I'm not going to confirm nor deny any of this because they're minors,
Right.
and a court of law will decide whether or not you get to hear about this.
That's
Right.
funny. Because I
Like
can imagine
Cap's like,
Cap's a
Boy
good
Scouts.
idea because he's like, no, the Avengers broke it up so these kids can like, go to school and
Yeah,
have
have
lives.
lives.
And that's
like,
what they
move
do.
on.
They turn all the kids over to the state,
Oh, that sucks.
except Chase, who
Well, because
convinces.
they can't be an Avengers.
Well,
bullshit.
Why? They got young Avengers on the other side on the other coast.
They-
Just that the people writing Avengers don't want to deal with them.
They all get turned over to
Sucks.
the state. Chase goes to live with an aunt.
Okay, well,
Carolina is put into a foster home. Who's like who the family is like addicted to pills.
God.
So Molly goes to like an Xavier-like school. Like
what? Not Xavier's?
she goes to like a mutant school. I can't remember if it's
Yeah, Cap would be like, okay, Chuck, you need to take this kid.
Maybe
Actually,
the
Chuck's not
X-Men-
around.
Yeah, everything's fucked up with the X-Men, right?
Yeah.
Sister Grimm goes to live in a foster home because nobody adopts her.
Oh.
So then they all like Caroline decides that she wants to see everybody and she can't handle this life anymore.
Yeah.
And so like she puts out a call that says like we should meet like where we first met.
Mm-hmm.
And they all figure it out, which was the
James Dean Memorial.
It goes to a boarding school.
Oh.
So she had to bust out of there, and then she had to go bust out Molly because Molly wouldn't have known. Where to
Right,
be.
she wouldn't get a call.
So she doesn't know. So oh sorry, she's at. They say she's at like I think she calls it an ex-corporation embassy. So I don't know. She's at some sort of school, essentially, though.
Okay.
All right.
And they're all just kind of talking about what happened.
Yes.
And, like, nobody knows where Chase is.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, and Gert's like, I know for a fact he doesn't have an aunt. Like, he just made that up so
he could not have to deal with this shit.
leave.
And nobody checked.
Exactly. But he does show
Like, well,
up.
I'm just gonna walk over to my aunt's house. See
Yeah.
you later.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool, you're covered then.
Exactly. So he does show back up. And they're like, whoa, you're here, cool. And
He's
like,
yeah, leapfrogging.
Gert immediately is like, I can't believe you. We had a thing.
Aw.
Oh.
And you just left. And he's like, okay.
All right.
All right.
But to be
Fair
fair,
enough.
to be fair, I found your dinosaur. Because they wouldn't let her keep it.
What?
Why not?
Because
Look
it's a
at the
dinosaur!
Where would they put it?
So they took it. They confiscated the dinosaur.
From where? I mean, where did they put it?
Yeah.
Well, he
to
figured
where?
it out.
Ah,
Like,
where
he
was
found it. Like, in like an old West Coast Avengers facility.
Ah, yeah.
Okay.
They kept it there, and they're like, we gotta go get it.
Oh, they're going to go on a mission?
Oh, he doesn't have it with him.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, we gotta break in, and she's like, yes, let's do it. And
Yay.
like, Carolina's like, yeah, because I'm not gonna do this anymore.
Right, 'cause I'm not gonna live.
This family sucks.
Yeah.
And like, Sister Grimm is like, I don't know about this. Like, I haven't
Right.
used the staff of one, and like, she kind of feels bad because her parents died, blah blah blah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
her boyfriend turned out to be a bad guy.
Yeah, exactly. By the way,
fuck
that
yeah.
does not go away throughout the rest of the series. Like, she always feels bad about that. She has an opportunity where she gets his mirror at one point, and she tries to use it to like bring
Talk
him
to
back.
Alex.
No, to bring
Oh.
him back, and like it doesn't
Oh.
work.
Don't
But
bring him back. He's a dick.
He's fucking skeleton too.
right, but
It's gonna be
inevitably
gross.
he tries to like fix what he did
Oh.
because like I don't really know the storyline, but Molly ends up hearing this voice from beyond,
Mm-hmm.
and they think it's one person, but it turns out it's
to be
Alex, and he's like trying to like make up for what he did.
Cool.
Essentially, they decide that they're like, we're gonna just go wherever the wind takes us, which they're like, that's it, that's what we're gonna do. And it's cool because it ends with a quote from James Dean about making it to 18 and like being a kid. So like the Dean statue was all part of it. By the way, Carolina realizes that that's like her parents were huge fans of James Dean, and that's
Yeah.
probably where they took the name when they
Okay.
got to Earth. So
Yeah.
the James Dean thing is about like reaching 18, like
Right.
how you kind of thought you'd never make it to that point.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So like it's just kind of about like the adventure they're going on.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what this
Runaways.
book is. It's angst. It's
Yeah.
like it's super angsty, but the story's good.
Yeah.
Like I think this is a cool story. A bunch
cool
of kids
story.
Cool story, bro.
who think that they found out that their parents are superheroes, but they're
Super
super
villains.
villains.
They're super villains.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
it
right,
super
yeah.
sucks.
Right? And it super sucks.
And it's super angsty.
But like at a point in your life where you feel Alex, often as an outcast, you feel like nobody understands you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and it's just so funny because their parents really are doing things for them.
Yes.
And in this case, they like a lot of kids when you're teenagers, you think like your parents are trying to ruin your lives. In this case, they weren't, but they were.
Yes.
Right.
Inadvertently.
Like,
From
but
a
they,
certain point
but
of
they
view.
legitimately were evil. They were actually evil
Yeah.
this time.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Again,
it wasn't like you think they're evil, but then it turns out
Right.
they're really good.
And they're like,
I'm
I'm sorry you didn't trust us.
Right.
Die.
like,
And you're like, Jesus.
but like no, but the story is good. The references made. It's just
We skipped over all of them. We didn't get anything.
You gave
Oh.
them
No one was
just
like,
the
yo,
good part.
Chumbawamba!
No,
Like-
they make a West Wing reference.
Oh. Like, you could easily, we
You
did,
could
and it was
easily-
great. Just
Yeah.
go in the description and pick up a copy
Yeah,
of this
but this
one.
is great. I'm again, the fact that there are mutants in here, it's sort of important.
Right.
I mean, they
Yeah,
could
they need
change
to
it
feel out
out.
the outcast.
They're either going to decide they're Inhumans or not, but like being a mutant, like they like initially everyone's like, oh, mutant, mutie, you know what I mean,
Yeah,
that kind of
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Well,
So
it easily builds off of the established canon
exactly
while still creating something new and fresh.
right, but like it's funny because they're not X-Men,
No, nor do the X-Men like show up. Although if one mutant, the X-Men have gone into space and toppled governments for less.
right?
I am shocked that the X-Men do not get involved in this.
Well,
in this
but they're dealing with the fact that there's only... Oh, no,
that
hasn't
comes
happened
after.
yet.
But yeah, but the point is,
Yeah,
like the X-Men
right.
have literally destroyed
Right.
the whole galaxy.
And I know that there was like I
For
don't know if
one
it's
mutant.
still
Yeah.
going on, but wasn't there a rumor that they were going to do a Cloak and Dagger series?
they're doing one. It's gonna be
Right.
for what the channel that ABC Family turned into.
Right now,
Which is like, oh, gonna be great.
but then who's going to show up in here?
Right.
Unless they just don't do that, because you don't necessarily need that arc, except
Yeah.
you really don't need that arc,
No.
except to give them the hope that the Avengers are going to come, and like why
Yeah.
wouldn't superheroes be involved? You could totally cut that out.
But what's
and in
cool
fact,
is
it's
you
done
could
by
actually
do it.
You could do it because the Avengers are never coming
right, but like
to your show.
this book is, by the way, the art in this is bizarre. Like it's
Yes.
fine, it's not great, it shifts.
They're trying to do something with it.
Well, we have two people who do the pencils. Adrian Alfano does it for almost the entire book, except for that other part, which is done by Takashi Miyazawa.
Mhm.
Then there's two different inkers who work on random issues, who don't even match up
Which
with
will
those
completely
two.
change
Tracy,
the
it
art.
doesn't fucking matter,
And
right?
then,
It matters!
and then hang on, and then there's two different colorists who don't even match up with the inkers when they're doing
Oh,
things.
God.
So this book shifts in art a lot. It's pretty similar for the most part, but I noticed the most in the inks.
Probably just to keep the book alive.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not bad.
No,
The one
but
with the different penciler is clearly different.
it's clearly.
You know what's
different.
amazing? In 2016, this book would never have made it past 12 issues.
Really?
Most of the imprints that were
Right.
under Marvel Tsunami didn't
Yeah.
make it past 12.
Oh, I know.
But this did, and then it got more, and then it got more.
Yeah.
But you're probably right. This
People have
wouldn't
been wanting
have.
people have been wanting a Runaways movie since this came out.
I think this is a way better series.
It has to be a show.
There's so much that has to be involved with it. Like this is so like the cliffhangers in this. Like every
They're
issue is
perfect
an episode.
episodes.
It's perfect. It's
Yeah.
perfect for that.
That's
it's,
why it would have been a great Netflix show.
It would
Yeah.
have been a spectacular Netflix show. So again, I really like this, and if you want to pick up your own copy of it, you can check out a link for it in the description box down below. But otherwise, we'll see you guys next time on Back Issues. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Sal.
And I'm Ethan.
Bye, guys.
Bye.